40 teams, 3 weeks of qualifiers, 6 games tonight to decide who is walking away with that first place grand prize. Welcome, Fortnite fans, to the AVGL Champions Collegiate Series Finals. I am Septilence, joined by Jag, to bring you a whole lot of Fortnite here today.
Yep, like you said, 6 games tonight and 3 weeks of qualifiers to get here. Now, these are the best of the best, the top of the top teams that we've had competing over the last few weeks to get just a piece of that $4,000 prize pool. First place going to be walking away with $1,000, but 8th place and above also going to be walking away with something. So, even if you don't get that first place finish tonight, there's still a lot of chump change to be pitting here and there. And these teams, they've been competing for a long time. It all comes down to this. And one thing we do know is that point structure, those points they gained from qualification, have completely reset. So everyone got here, but now they're starting back at 0.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, everybody's going to be knocked down to that 0 points. So all the points you've gained before were simply to get to this point. Now it's going to be a full reset. Everybody sits at 0. So this really, if you come in as that 20th team just under the wire, you're just in the exact same spot as somebody all the way in that first place position. Now, all those points earlier, completely out the window. So everybody here, clean slate, ready to bring the heat. And we could really see some great upsets here. Something of note before that stream, before we got on stream here today, was that a lot of the players we saw do fantastic in that final week of qualifiers, unfortunately, aren't going to be here today. We were surprised by how many of these names we didn't recognize.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that may have been able to qualify previously just from the first 2 weeks. We weren't there for those, unfortunately. But week 3, we saw a great team from Johns Hopkins University who's not going to be participating tonight. But there's a lot of great schools, a lot of great names
Absolutely.
to recognize. And some ones I want to point out: University of Illinois, University of Maryland, College Park, Drexel University, school I almost went to myself, and UT Austin, as well as UC Irvine. Those are some of the powerhouse schools that they're going to be seeing in this competition. Lovo, who we got to interview last week, is here with a different partner this time around, so maybe they're going to have a sub come in. Might be just a different name. Maybe they changed their name between this week and last week. We're going to be finding out a lot of things as we go. But one thing we do know is that Fortnite, there's a lot of RNG in it, right? That's where you drop, what guns you can get from loot. You can just find a good chest early on, or maybe you're stuck with your pickaxe against a shotgun. All those things can happen. So I think it's so important to say what you said about, everyone's coming in, even if you just barely qualified, even if you just barely made it in, you have just as good of a chance as the person who got the most points during qualification. You don't know the scoreboard by now, how it works. It's mostly by placement. Finishing first gets you 41 points, and second 34, third 30, fourth 27, and so on and so forth. It continues to decrease the lower you go, of 31st to 50th getting only 2 points for being there, and you get 2 points per an elimination. So one thing that you and I were talking a lot about during week 3 was that sometimes it's just better to, just survive and get to the end as opposed to going for kills.
Yeah, definitely my favorite way to play that. And speaking of surviving to the end, as you talked about that RNG, the biggest RNG in the game is going to be where that storm decides to close and where those final circles are. You could land on one side of the map and then, that circle's all the way on the other. So you spend 75% of the game just running and trying to make it in that circle in time. And you've got to hope that it works out well in your favor, because I don't think we saw anybody die to the storm last week, but that is always something that you have to keep in the back of your mind is, you can farm for materials and look for some weapons and items, but you've got to keep an eye out on that storm, because that damage really starts to add up over time, especially the further you get into a game, the more damage that storm is willing to do.
Yeah, I would say positioning near the end game when the circle starts moving around is even more important than the firepower that you possess, because you are able to get into the storm quicker. You can set up, you can build up into a great tower, and then just watch everyone try to run in as they desperately just try to, find some way to create a little bit of space, a little bit of something to restrict that damage. They'll put up walls, they'll put up ceilings, just as they try to run through, and sometimes they get caught out in the storm because of that. I think you're right, we didn't really see anyone fall to the storm just because of storm being stuck in it. We might have seen some people who were fighting kind of in between where it started and ended, and then they got caught out a little bit by it. But as we talked about last week, storm damage, it ramps up. The longer the game goes, the more it's going to hurt. At the beginning, you get stuck in it for a little bit, you'll probably live to tell the tale, but by the end, you're going to be taking a ton of damage. And it's those first versus second place gunfights that you're playing in. If you're trying to run through, you might be walking with only 30 health and maybe even not a full shield by then.
Yeah, and by the end of by that final circle, the storm is doing 10 damage a second. So that really is almost impossible to out-heal unless you've got enough bandages online or you've just popped a med kit at that perfect moment, because the med kit's going to take 10 seconds. You want to stay alive with one of those. But we saw that fish strategy coming out very often, where people go fishing in early game, and they try to get a couple of those, because those heal instantaneously, so they can give you a lot more healing online. And while a heal off, at the very end may not be the most entertaining thing, realistically, I know the players aren't here for entertainment purposes. Everybody is here to win, so they definitely want to do whatever it may cost. They really want to win this game, and I think we may be seeing that heal off strategy a lot more than we saw it in the qualifiers, because this is for all the marbles.
Yeah, and the heal off strategy is basically, if you like are running from the storm, you basically just try to out heal your enemy. You don't really go for gunfights. So things like those fish that you talk about, just like the orange fish that are the green tier, that secondary tier, the uncommon tier, instantaneous healing. A med kit is also an uncommon tier. If it's a full heal, but it takes 10 seconds, and 10 seconds is not what you're going to have if it's doing 10 damage per second. So you got to figure out something. I think another option is a chug splash. It'll give you shield as well as health, depending on where you are with those. So anything that can heal you instantaneously, that's what you're going to want to have on you in a moment like that. As you go throughout the game, it's okay to have those mini shields or a full shield, because they take a little bit of time. But if you just win a gunfight and you're trying to heal back up, then you have a little bit of a moment of rest to be able to put yourself back together, unless you get third partied, which can happen in a game like Fortnite. We saw it happen a few times last week where teams were very tunnel visioning into certain fights. They saw another team in the distance, they ran after them. And little did they know there was another team right on the horizon who was going to be running in and try to immediately follow up.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely something to keep in mind is that third party can come from literally any direction. People could come up from behind you or on the other side of you, and they can steal not only your kill in that fight, but they can kill you because you're going to be low already. The gunfights are usually kind of two teams going up against each other, and if a third team can really get in there and farm some free kills, I mean, that's going to be huge.
Yeah, and it's just, like we said, like, kills are not the name of the game. They're not the most important thing, I would say, in a tournament like this, but they're still very beneficial knowing that, I mean, you're not only getting points, but you're securing yourself a spot higher, especially if you can full wipe a duo. This is duos, not squad, so it's going to be 2v2, v2, 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 as we see this game go on, but there are subs, so that could be something that plays a bit later. But most importantly, if you lose your partner, the odds of you surviving are not great. If it's, squads and you lose one person, 3v4, that's very winnable, but a 1v2 is just so much more difficult. We did see some resurrections that we're able to get off. You can grab your partner's card if you win a fight. You can try to get them rebooted, but we know the risk of that is immense, because you try to go for one of those vans that does get the reboot done. It creates a whole bunch of noise. It's like a block party that you don't want to be invited to. Everyone's going to know where you are, so if anyone is in the vicinity, they'll instantly be able to focus you down.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say it's basically just picking up a tuba and blowing it into it as loud as you can, because it is an insanely loud noise, and it is a giant flag saying, hey, there's somebody over here, and it's going to be somebody without a kit online, right? So you're going to know there's going to be a 2v2, but somebody's not. There's no full kit. Somebody's holding a pistol, and that's all they've got to their name right now. We did see, I think, a couple of times, actually, last time, we saw a lot of these teams actually a couple teams that they revived their partner and then somehow won an immediate 2v2, even though they had no kit online. A very common strategy is a player will drop half of what they have online. So they'll drop, maybe one of their weapons, the shotgun or the assault rifle, and then they'll try to win a 2v2 with half of a kit for each of them, which is a difficult thing, but these players are definitely talented and know how to perform when necessary.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that's a great strategy. Just drop half of what you have. It's going to give you such a better way to win this. Because if you just go in and your partner's coming back with only a pickaxe, it is nearly impossible to win that sort of fight. But we'll see what shenanigans, we see here today, what kind of situations we end up having. If you look at the map where players are going to be dropping from the battle bus into, and we saw some very unique drops throughout the 4 games we casted last week. I feel like it was kind of half and half. Some games we saw players just go completely away from each other. Other times they'd be running into each other right at the beginning. It looks like right now we're going to be at Lazy Lake. I would say one of the more popular drop spots, though it doesn't look like anyone else is around this duo right now. So we're going to be seeing what they do. Just so they're going to be farming some materials and opening some chest control, looking to find some good weapons from the get-go. Has 2 common ones and 2 uncommon ones. But we're going to be moving on, and look at Akron, or Fear, I think, from Akron University right now is very, very weak.
Absolutely, and huge shout out to Akron. I'm from Ohio, so I'm actually from the Cleveland area, so I would love to see some great success from them here. But for the time being, Akron Fear is definitely taking a lot of damage, and Amazon Kid is trying to help that teammate. But Flapjack is a name that we are semi-familiar with. We saw them a little bit last week, and I believe they were able to net themselves a couple of kills. Never a top 3 placement, but they still found some great value early on. Akron going to be forcing themselves onto the high ground as they just try to find even a cheeky elimination onto Flapjack, even dropping down into the water, trying to pick up this early kill.
Yeah, that's a smart strategy, because it means they won't take any fall damage. I mean, fall damage is a very important part of Fortnite. We talked about it a lot last week. A structure is destroyed, you break the base of it, you're going to be possibly going down, probably going down, depending on how big you built up that structure. But for now, that fight is going to be avoided. But this one might be starting up in just a second right here.
Yeah, Salfors and Zigzag Zo, two names we are very familiar with as well. I don't think they ever secured themselves those top placements, but even when they didn't, they were getting eliminations almost more than anybody. Some of the most bloodthirsty players that we saw last week. Salfors right now has a shotgun and that SMG online as well as a gray
It's a 1v2
assault rifle. And I was going to say, I think actually Zigzag Zo is already down, so this is Salfors just desperately trying to keep themselves alive.
Have a shotgun, but they don't have any shield. They do have some build materials right now, but as you see, it's going to be destroyed very quickly. That's the problem with using brick. It takes longer to actually place, and now that's that's the end of that. Flapjack's also going down. We're seeing a lot of downs right now, it looks like, going across the map, so a lot of early action. I feel like we were missing out on that last week. It seems like it took a while for teams to really run into each other, but this time around, already a few teammates going down here and there. Still about 56 players, 28 teams left right now.
Yeah, about 28 teams left online, and I've got to say, that was a team we were so familiar with last week. Like I even commented, I'm known for their bloodthirst and their aggression, but now, taken out so early on, that is a disaster for them.
And it looks like right now, Meepy is just running around with their partner. There is a duo a little bit below them, but we're going to be moving over, and it looks like Miss Hop currently is down. Their partner might be just trying to get out. We're going to be looking at that map for just a second. You can see there's a lot of people all over the place right now. Caddy corner, there might be a duel right there, but I want to be looking at the top right of the map. It looks like there's a lot of action going on right there. Hopefully we'll be able to get over to that very soon. But you see, I mean, we've got a lot more people this time around, I've noticed. There's a lot more teams competing here for the grand prize than they were last week in qualifiers. So some teams might have already just, punched their ticket, and they're like, we don't really need to participate in this. Like, we feel comfortable where we are. But because of that, there's going to be a lot more early deaths, and as we see, Hop's still down right now.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be pretty insane here. And something I want to point out as well is we saw we talked to Lovo last week during the interview, and he mentioned that he and his partner just constantly landed in Slurpee Swamp, and then they used that to get a bunch of free shields and materials. And I've just got to wonder if anybody landed to fight them, or if they chose to kind of let Lovo and his partner keep that Slurpee Swamp all to themselves. Because, I mean, it worked out super well for them last time. I would love to see what it can do here, but now we're going to be watching Bonix and Rocky going up against Beast Ghost, someone we are a little familiar with. Saw last week, unfortunately wasn't able to give us their best games, but they were still there, and they still made it to these top 20 teams, so they are back with a high ground advantage for the time being. And Rocky seems to not want to let this kill go, but I think they've also lost track of where Beast Ghost went.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to find them right now. You can try to float up and maybe find them there on the high ground, because you are immediately going to be put into the air, but it looks like they're just trying to, like, swing around. I think they've actually found them out. Now they're just going to be trying to shoot, but that's going to be very hard shots. Yeah, one hit landed. See if they can get the rest.
Yeah, it looks like they were able to get that one hit online, but it looks we may be able to see them sneak out just a bit. And of course, Fancy now taken out as well. Definitely not a good look. Wow, what a great shot from a distance here by Bonix. Able to find a little bit more shield damage. It's probably going to take them down to probably about half shield, maybe a third shield. And all of a sudden, Bonix and Rocky decided they're going to give up that chase, and they're just going to wait it out and farm some materials here.
I like that plan. I think you don't want to get too oriented on just finding eliminations early on, because right now what they get to do is they get to farm for materials. They might be able to find some more heals, like shields and med kits, or even just bandages. Like, they have this whole part of the map for themselves for the most part. And the other thing to note is, I mean, they are kind of far away. That's the one thing I would say they should be a bit worried about, maybe. But they do have a way to immediately get up in the air and just kind of fly high, so they might be able to just do that later on, and they're gonna be like, yeah, there's another shield. They even get a purple sniper rifle, so just like stuff like that, it worked out for them. And you see where the circle's gonna be steamy stacked. It's very far away from it. It's almost one of the farthest points you can be at right now on the map.
Yeah, I was just about to say that very same thing. They're pretty far, but I'm not sure they're the farthest of all those by Stealthy Stronghold and Coral Castle as well. Just everybody pretty much on the top left of that map is going to be running into the storm very soon here, and they've got quite a ways to go. So I'd assume to see a couple of vehicles perhaps just use utilization to get away from that. And this duo hanging out at Steamy Stacks, they're still going to be choosing to really wait until the last possible moment to get this show on the road. It's going to be closing in very quickly. It looks like Hunter's Haven may be one of the main focuses as the circle starts to close in, but I can be very wrong, as that is all RNG at the end of the day. The first circle going to come to a close, still 27 teams online, so these numbers could really start to dwindle in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, they did dwindle a little bit at the beginning, but then things started to slow down. It seems like, if there were fights to be had, it was because there were two duos at a certain location, but since then things have kind of paces slowed down a little bit. Just as I said, that looks like Empty and their duo are trying to find someone out, but I think they might have just been shot at from behind them. This might be three duos kind of running into each other right now. We're going to have to see how this plays out. It looks like they're going to ditch from that fight. They're not even going to bother.
They're gonna turn tail there. And something about Empty's name makes me just want to say Empty. You know, the exclamation point. Like I feel like I have to be yelling it. But Empty there is gonna leave that fight empty-handed because they're not even gonna go after the kills. Nando gonna be on the high ground. Another name that we're moderately familiar with. We saw this duo last week, and they've got quite the kit online between the two of them. I'm not sure they have anything less than a blue weapon.
Yeah, I see blues. I mean, the mini shields are going to be greens, but they still work out really, really well. Mini shields only can heal for 50 shield. They cannot get a full shield, so usually the thing you want to do is either combo that with a full shield or Slurp Juice, or, well, Slurp Juice is no longer in the game, but when it was, you know. But Chug Splash, that's the thing I was thinking of. Or just, you know, the things you can break around the map that will give you the Chug Splash effect anyway. So it's good to have, especially, though, just kind of in, like, fights, because they heal a lot quicker than a full shield. But it looks like we're going to be seeing a fight go on right now as Derpy is fishing, is trying to catch out Bacon, and Bacon has just fallen.
Yeah, Bacon just got 2-tapped there by Derpy is fishing, so an immediate 2v2 here. Derpy is fishing, able to find the full elimination as well, so not going to let them find that resurrection. Demon Juice trying to find any kind of value early on, but unfortunately it's just a build battle to the stars. As we hear a vehicle coming in, possibly going to tear down all of these structures. Demon Juice definitely not sure where they're supposed to be going. It looks like they're going to choose to try and outrun the Storm, but we talked about this early. This could cost a lot of players. Early on, the Storm only does 1 damage a second, and as this Storm will close onto the first circle, it'll do 2 damage a second, and so forth until it turns into 10 damage a second. Demon Juice going to be full committing into the basement. Now, there's no way out of here, so maybe just looking to hide for a moment, any kind of materials to help them in the future, but already losing a fifth of their health. They're going to really want to try to get out of here. They're quite a distance from the circle.
Yeah, it looks like the team that was trying to take them out for a second was considering waiting, but they're just going to take the car and drive. They're going to try to get out of this storm because they're taking a lot of damage. I feel like what they're trying to do there by running into the basement is they have the apples, so they do have heals, and it doesn't do too much damage, so you're able to stay alive for quite a while in it, but you might have to use a lot of heal resource because of it. But in the meantime, we're seeing a fight break out right here, and Cadnator 3K finding themselves in a world of hurt, only 36 health and a dream.
Yeah, Catnator definitely trying to stay alive. They've got 2 decent weapons online, but no healing, and boom, blink and you miss it. Taken offline there. Looks like it's going to be an immediate fight here for Frosty and Mellow as well, up against Midicro and GWB, trying to find any kind of value between these two of these teams. The build battle has very clearly already commenced, and now it looks like Frosty and Mellow are going to be able to get a little bit more value moving forward. They're going to start pushing into the build and trying to find pressure through it, and now it's all about that brick and that wood, just constantly building new walls to be shot through.
Yeah, and I mean, they're going to use steel, so this is an interesting commitment because that could be broken immediately, but I think this is a great calculated risk because GWB is in no situation to be able to chase this, and they're the ones still being chased down. As this goes on, you see the shield is breaking over and over again, so they just got about half shield, now they don't have it, and now they don't have anything.
Now they have nothing online, and they are going to fall there. Frosty with a great, like you referred to it as a calculated push coming through. Definitely a high risk, but the reward very clearly paid off. Frosty finding the double there. Going to take out that entire duo blink, and you miss it. Looks like it's going to be 4 eliminations online, but like you said, another duo going to drive right past them.
Yeah, I think they just decided not to take that. We saw the car out of the corner of our eyes, and I guess they maybe weren't aware that there was a fight going there, or maybe they just thought, you know, this isn't worth it. The circle is still so far. Let's just play for that, which it still is very far from where they are now, but we're going to be going elsewhere on the map, so Onyx here able to heal up. This is the medkit play. I mean, they have all the time in the world right now. They're being built around by their teammate, so they have those fish online if need be, but they're going to use the medkit. 10 seconds gone, but full health is back in their favor, and that's kind of knowing the moment, you know, realizing what's going on around you, and since there isn't anything going on around you, you can take that time to use heals that take longer.
Absolutely, and I love to do what Bonix was referring to there. I always love to refer to it as safety fishing, where you build and you make a little window and then you try to fish into the nearest body of water. They were able to find a couple of fish, but nothing great there. And now it's going to be a 2v1. Beast Ghost caught out once again. TYQT and the BFB are going to be putting the damage onto this 2v1 matchup.
Look at Rocky and Bonix.
Beast Ghost, yep, blink and you miss it. Beast Ghost is just ripped apart there. But here come Rocky and Bonix. We saw that we talked about a duo that was nearby, and it looks like they're going to choose to bring the fight to them. TYQT and the BFB. I think they built a majority of the castle they're currently standing in. They've got plenty of heals, and we can clearly see that gold weapon just lying on the ground. Rocky and Bonix, I don't think they even know somebody's in there.
They might not, but it looks like for the moment, at least, the BFE was looking the other way now. Yeah, they're not looking at each other right now, but that storm is coming in, so I don't think this is really a good time to take a fight. I thought they were going to try to take the fight on the high ground,
but
my
goodness.
Now they're both on the low ground, so this actually could be a chance where they run into each other, and right now they're fishing. They actually got a legendary fish. I'm not sure they'll have time to pick it up as you look behind you and you're like, oh no, that's a lot of purple.
chooses to leave the thermal fish there. That could have been huge, but unfortunately it looks like they're not going to be taking it with them. They've got a couple of fish online, and now these duos have no idea how close they are together. Both of them on foot. Well, I guess one of them swimming.
There's another thermal fish.
None of them are in vehicles, and that was another thermal fish. Definitely not the best luck to have when you're not able to pick any of this stuff up. And realistically, it looks like he's more choosing not to. Going to be able to find another blue fish, a little bit more healing online. Now we've got 4 duos just hanging out. No, excuse me, 5 duos. Somebody up on the high ground as well. It looks like Dr. Duke and Sweetie are going to be up there. No, my goodness. As every time I say it, another duo pops up on my screen. I think we're looking at 7 duos here, all within arm's reach of one another.
Yeah, this looks like an endgame strategy right now, but this is not endgame. There's still a lot of duos left. So turtling up like this, I don't think this is the strat. I mean, you're kind of guesstimating where the circle's going to end up. This isn't the end all of where it will be as it continues to move in. But as you see, I mean, if you're higher up, you kind of are more of a target. But at the same time, if you're on the low ground, people can more easily approach you. So we'll see how that situation kind of develops. We're going to be seeing how this situation develops. These are the 2 teams we were just talking about momentarily. It looks like they might be trying to get a car here. Maybe they're trying to bust out of here. Only a minute 25 before the circle starts moving again. So like they're so close, but they haven't actually had a sight line on each other at all, I believe, so far.
I'm not sure they're even aware that they're so close together, but it looks like they are going to be separating just a little bit. TYQT and the BFB are going to be heading a little bit off to the western side of the map, and it looks like that opposite duo going to be heading unintentionally east. So both these teams have quite literally dodged a bullet. They're not going to be taking this fight. I cannot wait to see what this endgame is going to look like, because we've seen so much aggression already, and all these teams already bunkered up. Like, this could turn into a heal off. Look at that. There's Harsh and Control. So we definitely were talking about them a little bit before this matchup. They actually, I don't think they were listed, but that's okay. They are here now with this team, and it looks like we're going to see 4 duos, or I guess 3 duos and a single now. So all these teams so close together, but it's almost like a temporary ceasefire, as nobody wants to fire that first bullet.
And I think this is where, Fortnite can be a little bit less exciting, because when there are fewer teams, there's usually less places to hide, weirdly enough, because people just be running around a lot more. But here you see everyone has just decided to try to build up and try to keep themselves safe instead of going for this gunfight. There's still so many people left. 22 duos on the map.
Look at that mini map. I mean,
look at this. Yeah,
duos,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, 22 duos left alive. That's at least 10 of them, maybe 12 of them in this circle already. So they are all trying not to risk that storm damage. Harsh and Control, I wanted to talk about earlier. I referred to a team as one of the most bloodthirsty teams we have seen. That's because Harsh and Control are number 1. In my opinion, this duo is the most bloodthirsty duo that we have currently in this tournament. And hopefully they don't bite the bullet for that, because we did see that cost them around early on. They were trying to camp somebody out, and they ended up getting third-partied for it. I doubt they're going to be making those same mistakes here, because as I keep saying, it is all the marbles right now. Lovo able to take a little bit of damage now, so Perksy and Lovo possibly being pressured out just a little bit. Misty Meadows is going to be where this circle really starts to close in, at least on the far side of it. This is going to be interesting, because there's going to be a very aggressive high ground advantage for those teams that have already put themselves at the top of the mountain.
Yeah, and I think honestly where you want to be right now is you want to be south on one of those high grounds, like one of the mountains there. Like I see a bit of snow like right where the circle kind of ends. I feel like that's the best place to be right now if you really want to just play for placement, because like you said, everyone is surrounding Misty Meadows right now. This is usually actually where I would drop if I was playing, and this would absolutely terrify me if this is what I dropped into. Obviously we're a bit more in the late game right now, but there's just so many people, and there's so many there's so few, I would say, like houses that are left really around them. People have been just kind of taking the resources from them. They've been kind of building into them now. So as you see this, like this wall that's being built up, that was actually a huge indication that there's someone there. But Lovo and Perksy, they're not going to be found out just yet. But I mean, you see that Derpy is fishing is right to the left. I mean, there's a ton of names right in front of them. And again, I said this earlier. I mean, there's a high ground versus low ground debate, right? Like high ground, you fall, it's over. But low ground, you can get run up on so easily. Someone can just go through the front door.
Yeah, absolutely. And something I want to note is we're probably going to see the kill feed light up like a Christmas tree in just a couple of minutes here, because these teams are going to run out of places to hide. They're really going to have to get shoulder to shoulder, toe to toe, and the bullets will start firing. We still have, honestly, a decently sized circle. It's kind of hilarious that so many teams have chosen to hang out in just the one half. And if you look off to the other half, we see a couple of teams moving through, some definite, like a couple of teams off to one side, but almost everybody here going to be pushing onto the high ground. Control and Harsh are seriously about to get a run for their money, because they're being pushed up on by Mandinka and Archer, as well as pushing up into Mars and BHEGs, who are playing on that high ground. Like I said, this kill tree about to light up like a Christmas tree. These players no longer have anywhere to hide.
And before we see these fights break out, I just want to remind you lovely folks watching this at home that we have 4 rig headsets to give away throughout the stream, so be sure to be checking in chat about the details for that. We're going to be having that giveaway, so No, why not watch some awesome collegiate Fortnite and then win some prizes? That seems like a great time to be had. Right now, I'm not sure these players are having a great time. This must be a very stressful situation. The BNB's still so many duos. Now we're going to see the fight. It's actually Harsh and Control. Those players we know very well. They are taking some fire. Didn't take any damage, but here's where things get very risky. You open up a gunfight. Everyone's gonna know where you are. Third, fourth, fifth, maybe 20th party, everyone might just collapse on you.
Yeah, realistically, you could get up to 20-second partied right now because there are so many people online in this fight. And we see Mandinka and Archer, they've got a great kit, at least on the side of Mandinka. You can only assume Archer's got some good weapons under that belt as well. But these players all just waiting. That first gunfight has come out. We've got to see who's going to be able to get value off the back of it. I believe it's 22 teams remaining. And just take a look at this, folks. Like, this is so many teams just on one mountain. This circle really starting to close in. This is going to be an absolute bloodbath here. Control and Harsh are going to be pushed in. I think we see 3-4 duos around them, one of them being Perksy and Lovo, who really made a name for themselves in that final week of qualifiers. Huge shout out Akron. I still see you guys. I still live in Ohio, so stoked to see them making it this far into the fight. But Lovo is going to be taken out, actually. Joe Scalia is going to be able to find Lovo, not down, but not out quite yet. The elimination has not come through, but the knock most certainly has. That's going to leave Perksy on their lonesome, and the gunfire still coming out to the res, temporarily impossible. Might be able to drop down and find it, but now you're pushing yourself further to the edge of the circle as well.
It looks like they went for a very aggressive play. I think they tried to jump structures and actually try to flank someone, but it ended up not working out for them. As we see, they do have one member down. They do get the resurrection. It should come out in just a moment, but circle might end up collapsing right into them. They're still taking fire. They know that Lobo is down there, even if Perksy is up. They are going to be now in the circle, so they're going to have to be running for their lives, and they're in the worst position of anyone right now.
I think the Storm's going to be at a five tick right now, which means it's doing 5 damage a second as long as you are in it. So right now, Perksy eating a shotgun blast as well, down to critical condition, just a quarter of their health, no more shields online, could be an absolute disaster here. Looks like both of them are still standing. No, excuse me, I believe Perksy was knocked, so it looks like that's definitely not going to be good. Lovo, is going to be able to survive, and now we've got those launch pads coming out. VP and that teammate going to be dropping into streets, pushing themselves toward the water. Things get twice as difficult in this game when you have to be building out over the water, because your structure can be taken out in the blink of an eye. Look at that structure here on the far right, which we're zooming into now. That's got to be at least 8 duos. A 9th as Meepy approaches, and now Arrow and Micah, who are going to be pushing in as well. Mars and Beggs trying to find any kind of value. The aggression now from all these teams, it's just going to be a blink and you miss it moment.
It is going to be blinking and missing. Now there's everyone. So this is what I was talking about. You fire away and everyone ends up going towards you. I think also we don't have clarification on this because we do not have the mini-map, but my guesstimation is that the circle's going to be moving this way, kind of out from here. So everyone's going to be going kind of coming to this little corner of the circle. Everyone you see, everyone's going for the rotation. Perksy is going to fall.
Perksy's
they are gone.
Lovo's gone.
Are gone, but more people are falling. And like you said, it is being lit up like a Christmas tree now.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. That was 5 eliminations. And okay, we see Zuya able to pick up, but now BFB just knocks them right back down. Not going to be a good look for them so far. And the BFB taking a lot of damage as well, almost losing all the shields, stuck in the water, nowhere to run, hardly able to build, down to a quarter of their health. Mandinka and Archer trying to get any kind of elimination on the board as they are unable to do so quite yet. They've made it this far, down to these 21 teams, down to our 5 of 9 circles. So now all these teams really are trying to put some kills on the board. We talk about, you want to survive, you want to try to outlive these teams, but when you're this close quarters, you just got to start looking for those kills, because unless you start taking people out, you will be taken out. The BFB going to be absorbed by the Storm for just a moment, taking even more damage, and now Mellow building up Frosty as well. They've got no idea they're walking right into a crossfire.
They are indeed, and just as a reminder for that giveaway, just for clarification, just type Esport Certified in the chat to be entered into it for Rig headsets. Esport Certified. No S. But there's going to be the jump, and I mean, we've seen aggressive plays like this, right? They just use the launch pad just to immediately jump into someone, but you're walking into a whole world of hurt, and as you see right now,
oh no,
Amazing Kid is in an Amazon Kid, I believe, is about to fall really low, so that Akron squad, they're still in it, but they are not looking so great.
Yeah, we see Amazon Kid was picked up and knocked right back down, I believe, so definitely not going to be a good look there. Nando now is going to be eliminated as well. So I think we're going to see, there's going to be 20 teams left, and all of that madness, only 3 teams were eliminated. 36 players still alive in this fight, and we see the knockdown right onto TYQT. Here comes Stems from the Storm, trying to get a great shotgun blast onto anybody with a wall, going to interrupt them for just a moment. MCore is going to be alive as well, and guys, you just got to keep an eye on this kill feed. Archer finds TYQT instantaneously, and it's going to be another shot, a hyper-aggressive play from Stems, going to be able to cost them their life. Fear trying to pick up any kind of exit frag if the teammate is offline. Sergeant Sash is going to be taken out a little bit as well here and now. Archer and Mandinka still alive. One Elam on board. They're just trying to make the magic happen, but they are running out of time to do it. They've got plenty of heals. They don't have a lot of materials left. Actually, as I say, they've got quite a lot of steel and wood under their belt, but they've got to build like madmen right now. Look at that circle, folks. This is so many people. I think a lot of these folks are going to get taken out by the storm here because they are running out of room to exist.
Yeah, they are, and Control is particularly the weakest person alive right now. They're going to try to stay alive, find a place to hide if they can. A lot of people losing their shield, or at least part of it. Not a lot of people at full strength, at full health right now. As that circle continues to move, you see that everyone is trying to build away, trying to build into the new circle. And this is where having the high ground is so important. You don't want to be playing on that low ground, because if there are people above you, they're going to be shooting at you. They're going to be breaking those ceilings as you build them. And this is where chaos just reigns right now. You kill one duo, there might be one right next to you.
Absolutely. I mean, you can think about the fact that there's going to be a duo on pretty much every side of you. 4 more eliminations. We've gone from 20 to 11 teams in a minute. We're down to 10 teams now. Bonix and Rocky are going to be taken out. Demon Juice is going to die to the storm, unfortunately, not able to make it quite into that. Demon Bacon isn't going to be able to find it either, so now another team is going to be gone. I think Shappy is going to be taken out. Fear going to really struggle to make it in. Derpy is fishing, caught in the darkness as well, and Fear being caught in a gunfight is going to be all the worse. Shappy taken out in the storm, going to fall. That duo partner already offline. Harsh and Control, at least Control. Actually, I think Harsh is gone, but Control is still going to be in the fight. Kinster and Fear are going to be fighting on the high ground, and B-Heads with another elimination. That's going to be the first for the duo. Shappy's gone. Derpy is fishing, is taken out as well. Archer and B-Heads with a combination there. Like you said, if you take out one duo, there's 4 more waiting for you on the side of any of these builds. The shotguns are going to be most important here. Archer is going to be able to find Slight and pick up that elimination. 20 to 6 teams in less than 2 minutes. That is the chaos. That is Fortnite in these final circles like this. Arrow is gone. Mandinka is gone. We're down to those final 5. It's going to be one name that I recognize at least, and it's going to be Mars, who's now made it to this final circle. Archer taken out, gone. Now Mars, as I said, it was going to be knocked, and these teams, we're getting down to the final numbers. The storm continuously closing. There goes Mars. There goes Money. B-Hegs, Mellow, and Frosty. B-Hegs is taken out. Mellow and Frosty. If there's a will, there is a way. 8 eliminations between the two of them. That is a guaranteed 16 points online, and they get 41 points for winning that matchup. A phenomenal job, and that was just hectic from minute 1.
It was hectic indeed, and Beggs there was the last person standing. Their partner fell just in the chaos of all of that. I think they fell in the storm. I'm not sure if it's because of the storm or because of some damage that's coming out, but there is the high ground advantage. We saw the final duo. They were able to just get up a little bit higher, even though I believe they were across the water at that point, so they just kept kind of building on other structures, able to just secure themselves, and they were still pretty healthy. I mean, they weren't at full health by any means, but they still had shield. They still had a lot of that green bar that was full. That's where you want to be. Just want to wait for your time to strike. So Bags got a lot of kills in those final hours. Might actually be able to tie things up because of that. The difference between first and second is not too big. 41 to 34 points is the difference there. So you get I think 4 kills, then you're fine. You'll be tied up once again. We do know that duo that did win actually got a few as well. So we'll see where things end up before our second game. But again, there are still 5 more games overall, so there's plenty of times for those duos that didn't do so well in our first matchup to still rise to the occasion.
Yeah, there's definitely plenty of time to turn things around and bring the heat in 5 more attempts. Of course, it's going to be the same map every time. Fortnite only has 1 map, but the circles are going to be closing in different spots of the map. That'll change the terrain, that'll change the approaches, and that'll change who has the high ground advantage, who has what weapons. So much of this game is about RNG and just the fact where you land, the weapons that have generated there, and so much more. I'm going to do this one more time while we're waiting for this break. If you guys want to be entered for that giveaway for, I believe, what is 4 RIG headsets, definitely type Esport certified in chat. So that is just 1 Esport, no S on the end of it. So give that, type that in chat just 1 time is plenty, and then we will have a bot in there to let you guys know who's going to win what. But yeah, I just want to put that out there. And moving into this next game, I could not be more excited because I, for whatever reason, didn't think Harsh and Control had made it the top 20. I'm not sure where I had lost that information or where I had made that, but I'm stoked to see them here. We're going to be throwing into a super quick break before we move into that second game. So check your posture, everybody. Drink some water, and we'll see you guys in just a couple of minutes with round 2 of so much more Fortnite. We'll see you soon.
In 2020, we interrupted your regularly scheduled programming to bring you $250,000 worth of scholarships through Intel Inspires. Now, in 2021, we are the regularly scheduled programming. We are proud to announce the new AVGL high school program, backed by a myriad of colleges, influencers, and esports professionals. Up to $400,000 worth of scholarships, paid esports internships, content creator camps, and 50+ exclusive tournaments and events. We know the ropes, and after the experience granted to us through Intel Inspires, we're no longer tying knots, we're tying bows. Because esports isn't about skill, it's not about age, it's not even about experience, it's about attitude. And we at the AVGL are dedicated to bringing that attitude from the vault of the esports corporations and into your classroom. If there's one thing we've learned from a year at the forefront of collegiate esports, it's that professional gaming doesn't start with us. It starts with you.
Welcome back, Fortnite fans, to the AVGL Collegiate Champions League. I am Seppelins, joined by Jag once again to bring you the second game of the night.
Yeah, absolutely. The first game, it ended wildly, and you and I were talking about this during the break. Last week with less teams, it was less of what we expected. This week, it was exactly what we expected. Yep. So many duos making it to that final circle. It was a brawl for all at the very end. 20, I think, was where we were at as the circle was getting to its final destination. It just kept moving around and getting smaller and smaller. But it was the duo from Loyola that ended up taking that first place seeding here. They got 41 points, plus some extra for all the kills they racked up throughout all of it. And I mean, starting off first, from the first of 6 games, that's a great way to kind of set the pace. It's a great way to kind of pump yourself up. But you can't just sit on that lead. There's still a lot more points to be given away.
Well, yeah, there are plenty of games left, and you've got a great lead. I think they're sitting at like 57 points, give or take, around that. So that's definitely a good lead. But if one team drops 8 kills for 2 games, that's already 16 points, and then they just have to place, and you're nearly tied up if you perform poorly. So it's definitely a very large toss-up right now. And something to consider is that final circle, like you said, was exactly what I was talking about during that last week. That last week matchup is I expected all these teams to be making it. There was a moment where it went from 20 teams to 6 teams, and I think less than 2 minutes. It was seemingly instantaneous. We lost so many players.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a difference in playstyle where last week a lot of teams were a bit more kill hungry. As you said, like the teams that we expected to be kill hungry, they were not. They were patient, they were waiting, they were trying to find openings, they were not just running out into the open. We saw a few opportunities here and there where maybe teams could engage in fights, and almost every time they're like, nah, we're just gonna go for the circle, we're just gonna play for placement. And that makes sense because when you're doing the actual placements to get into the grand finals, you can take a bit more of a risk, especially if you've already done well in the previous weeks. But I mean, this is the end all be all. This is the final event here today. This is the grand finals, you know? It really has that kind of ultimate feeling to it, and $4,000. You can't take any risks when a prize pool like that is on the line.
Absolutely. I mean, that is quite the prize pool to behold, and these players are definitely not going to be, like you said, taking any of those risks. If they're not 100% sure they're going to win a gunfight, probably not going to take it. We saw that so many times. There were duos running in simultaneous in these parallel lines, not confronting each other at all because they didn't want to A, take unnecessary storm damage, or B, take a gunfight they weren't sure they were going to be able to win. And it's honestly all about placement right now. If you're able to win a game and you're able to get 8 eliminations between the two of you, of course that's huge because that's 16 points on board. But it's also, you know, if you got those 16 points and then came in 4th place because you were over aggressive, like it's like you just barely lose that podium, and that could make or break your placement later on.
Absolutely. And again, the top 8 do all get into that prize pool, but It's that first place prize of $1,000 that everyone is really gunning for. And I want to talk about the circle a little bit more before we get into the second matchup. RNG, right? We talked about it. It's the name of the game for Fortnite. It's very impactful at the beginning. I wouldn't say it's as impactful in the middle of the game, but I think at the end it does. And actually, we don't have time, as we're already just going to get right into this right now. And already 2 people have fallen. Man, right off the bat. And there's going to be the dance. Cadnator didn't have a great amount of luck last time, but as they're going to one of the oldest places on the map, they're going to be finding kills. But already, we're just going to keep going around. These teams are at it.
Yeah, an Orange Boy trying to find any kind of value. I Woke Up Dead still alive, and it looks like a double kill able to come from I Woke Up Dead. Already going to put 4 points on board for the team, and they've got quite a lot of green weapons there. Plenty to use, and they've got the med kits as well to heal themselves up. But Orange Boy's health never exactly broken there. We're going to be rotating in now, and it's going to be that circle rotating around the bottom left of the map. So kind of close to where that first circle started in game 1, but now a little bit off to the left side around a couple of other places. Sebi here with Empty, going to be here in that Slurpy Swamp area, trying to find any kind of value they can. Very close to, it seems, 2, maybe 3 teams, and they're probably oblivious with all those trees and structures in the way. Beast Ghost, a name that we've seen quite a few times, hasn't had the best luck in terms of kills, but has always been able to live for quite a while, jumping into Shaftsy. So we're going to be moving around a lot of this map, and like we said, the start, you see a lot of eliminations come through, and then you've got a pretty elongated mid-game, a couple of fights here and there, and then the end game, just an absolute bloodbath.
It is indeed, and I just want to give a quick shout out to our amazing sponsor, Esport Certified. Shop Esport Certified, a gaming gear destination exclusively for college and university students. Discover today's premier esports gear from Razer, SteelSeries, HyperX, and more, all at epic savings. Visit today at www.esportcertified.com. And as a reminder for that giveaway we're doing, 4 headsets are up for grabs. Be sure to type Esport Certified in the chat. Esport, not esports. No S, and these kills are still coming through. The thing I wanted to mention was where the circle ends up could be more important than where it starts at the beginning, but it looks very similar to last time. I'm glad you pointed that out. It's a little bit more to the left. I was really hoping we'd see it maybe here at the top where we're looking at right now on the map, because I feel like at the top there's actually a lot more open area, depending on where you are, and that can lead to a lot more fun battles where they can't really use houses that are around them to hide like we did last time in Misty Meadows, where a lot of those houses were just built on top of. Time being, Alt for Coaching and Shafiq, they've got those anime skins. I remember them from last week. They're going to be getting some super fish, and they're just going to be chilling at the top right of the map. And that's kind of where you want to be right now. You want to be far away from everyone, just getting resources.
Yeah, and I'm definitely sure that they placed very well last week. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they won one of the games in that final qualifying week. If they didn't, it was definitely a top 3 placement. So they've made a name for themselves nonetheless. And we saw that strategy from them before, actually, where they go to the top of the map and just fish like crazy for the first couple of minutes and just farm as many good items as they can. And then they just kind of wait out in the long game. I know that they were able to place very well last week. They're probably going to try to do that same here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want to try to keep what you had going last week this week. I don't think they did extremely well last game. In the first one, I don't remember them really being anywhere in that final circle. They might have been. There were a lot of duos there. There was a lot of names to recognize. So
absolutely.
See if they do it better this time. TYK, it's a name that we have seen quite a lot. They're going to get that full shield, be able to top themselves off completely. And I mean, we've seen a lot of teams come close to blows again. This area in the map, I've seen at least 3 duos, but again, no one's really engaging. Everyone's just kind of playing for resource management, and that's smart. Again, you don't want to risk a gunfight unless you know you can win. You never know who's just around the corner. At the same time, if you're too close to a team and you just let them kind of live on their life, that's one less spot you could have later on. Down the road, if you end up getting eliminated and you don't go for that gunfight, then you might be placing a lot lower.
Absolutely. You definitely don't want to be pushing into gunfights you're not sure you can take. A lot of farming coming out very early on, something we expect to see from these teams, because a fight really does come down to who has more materials, like 95% of the time. Sometimes it's just a straight gunfight and the materials aren't really necessary, but especially in that final circle, if you run out of materials, you might as well not have a weapon in your hands, because it really does come down to running from the storm more than it is running from your opponents. It looks like it's going to be Sky and Detrata here, just kind of sending down river toward the circle. Using the water is definitely going to be a good call, because swimming is slightly faster than walking in this game. And I hear a vehicle, but I'm not sure if that appears to be some kind of audio glitches. Neither of these folks are obviously driving a car down the middle of the river.
I think it might have been the boat that was there, but I mean, they weren't using it, so not quite sure. But like you said, with swimming, you go a lot faster. If you jump up and down, you kind of create this rhythm that makes you go even faster. So there's kind of risk versus reward. You expose yourself for just a second, but you do get a bit more momentum. There's a car that we're going to be seeing elsewhere, but there's Perksy falling down to Empty somewhere on the map. So that's a huge kill. Cadnator going back to their squad. Looks like they are going to be running up on a bunch of people. We're going to be moving to other places. And Perksy's down. That's a huge loss. I'm not sure if their duo partner is still alive, but oh man.
Yeah, it looks like we may have to send things to just a quick break for a moment. There may be a couple of technical issues, so we will see you guys in just a couple of minutes. We'll try to keep you as updated as we can. back in the heat of things. Sweetie and Dr. Duke going for a kind of hide strategy. Orange Boy running right below them. Gonna get caught out here eating those shields and eating several shotguns to the back, losing all those shields and that health. I Woke Up Dead is gonna be there to back them up, throws them out of the way to avoid that elimination from coming through, and that really could make or break that difference.
4 squads?
Yeah, there's gonna be 4 duos here as Beggs is gonna be pushing in as well. Mars trying to find that damage, and Michael Hu and Big Riv hiding on the outside. Orange Boy is just, they're trying to get him out of there. We see MCore and Stemps are gonna be able to get a great high ground advantage, but they may get third party themselves as there's a fight up on top of that hill. So this is gonna be a bloodbath here.
Yeah, Orange Boy just gonna get out for free, it looks like. I Woke Up Dead just yeeted them across that building and ended up getting out alive because of the 3rd, 4th, 5th party. And yeah, there is a lot of people.
More.
Everyone is starting to set up here, and I'm starting to worry that this is exactly going to be like what we saw in the last matchup. Last time is Misty Meadows here. You might be right where we're looking at, where everyone just starts to bunker down. It looks like that's exactly what's happening. Everyone is kind of taking their own position on the map, and Orange Boy is going to live through all of that chaos. So your I Woke Up Dead is very happy for all of that. But look, everyone is just congregating here. Everyone is just setting up.
Yeah, no, we just see a lot of, like you said, they're congregating here, and now it's going to be a lot of duos super, super close again, and they're probably not going to take these fights right now because they, A, don't want to give away their exact location, and B, could get 3rd, 4th, 5th, 8th party at this point. So now they're definitely going to try and hold on to their bullets, hold on to their materials, and of course their healing. Now, Akron Fear and Amazon Kid, they're going to be right around the corner here. It looks like we're going to see Sergeant Sash, which is great. I like that the skin kind of coordinates with the name. That's just a fun little thing. Waiting to find any kind of value, waiting to find anybody to take a firefight with, but knows you've got to make sure you can win it and, you know, turtle yourself back up because you could be taken out just as fast as you take somebody out.
Rocky may be taking some damage. One thing I noted about their kit is that they have full shields, but they're only missing 10 shield, so they didn't want to use it. They didn't want to commit. They want to keep all of that to go for a full build. Rocky taking even more damage. Rocky is looking very weak right now. Their partner Bonix does have a bit more health, but they're going to drop right in and they're going to be taken down.
Yeah, they're going to get eliminated there. And like you said, Bonix has the health, but now Bonix's location is going to be given up as they get that information out of Rocky and dismiss him immediately afterwards. Stemps going to put the first kill on board for that team. MCore and Stemps trying to find some early kills, and they get a lot of information because now they know exactly where Bonix is going to be hiding, at least for a moment.
Yeah, Bonix, though, is, I think, far enough away from them to kind of live to fight another day, but there is 2, 3 duos, 4, I think, on the other side right now above them. So Bonix is stuck between a rock and a hard place. This is where positioning becomes so important. Sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's just game knowledge and knowing when to run in and try to take a certain space. There, Bonix is going to be not in the best shape, but at least you're not in the middle of this cluster right now. I mean, there are, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of all in the same building, the same complex, and Big Riv is the weakest of the bunch. The only one that doesn't have full shield and full health.
Yeah, it's actually crazy to consider. We keep saying it, but these teams are so close together. Like, if rocket launchers were a little more common like they used to be, this could be insane for somebody's kill count. But, you know, I doubt we're going to be seeing that here as explosives really aren't nearly as common as they used to be here in Fortnite. It's all about that build and that accuracy of those weapons. You don't really get those splash weapons anymore, like the grenades or the rocket launchers or anything of the sort. There's going to be a lot of great value here for those teams on the high ground. They're very close to one another, but they can kind of almost for a moment like team up against a duo that pushes into them, because that's 4v2 for even just a second. But then again, that third party seemingly inevitable. Bonix, I guarantee Rocky's card is already offline, so that resurrection will not be coming through anytime soon. So if you're Bonix, this has really turned into that just hide until you die strat. You really can't take any 2v1s. You don't have any great weapons. You've got some good ones, but it's a classic 1v1. But going into a 2v1 is a death sentence here if you're Bonix.
And I think just playing it out and, you know, waiting for a location is exactly what you need to do right now. Just wait for the circle to move. Hope that you'll be able to survive long enough to get into the top 10. I feel like top 10 is, like, very much what you're shooting for right now, because that's the difference between 14 and then everything below you is like 10, 7, 4, 2. So there's a big difference if you're able just to get into that top 10. It's not, you know, the best amount of points compared to what you can get in the top 3. But remember, there's still 4 more games after this. Only 2 have been played out so far. We're in the middle of our second one right now, so still plenty of time to recover. And, you know, realizing that it's only one person versus what looks like almost everyone else being a full duo, unless there's 1 or 2 maybe missing them there. They're going to be not in the best position, not in the best shape, but right now, the way they're playing it, it's really smart. Not the most exciting in the world, but again, we talked about this earlier. It's not about excitement, it's about winning.
Right, absolutely. And it's kind of funny almost to like look at this side of the hill and see 3 teams, and then you go to the top of the hill on the other side, and there's at least like 8 duos on both matchups there. Alt for Coaching and Shaffy are still alive. We saw them right at the beginning, as well as Catinator and MBUAG. And so both those duos, we saw them right at the start of this round. They're going to be able to live. They're actually going to be shoulder to shoulder here, one duo right above the other. We see Meepy and Money as well. Definitely very, very low. They're going to have to heal up here. They must have gotten caught in a crossfire when we did not have them on screen. It's all going to turn into that game of patience now. Nobody's going to be taking risks that they don't have to, and it's really going to come down to just waiting it out.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like where you want to be right now is on the hill.
Yeah,
it's going to be in the next circle. You're going to have the best sight line, the best way of shooting people from below. There are a lot of other duos there, so it's very dangerous about kind of peeking out. So we'll see how that ends up going at Slate right now. Their teammate is still alive, but they're just a bit separated, it looks like. They might be right above them, not sure it's there. Just taking a little bit of damage from Storm, but not too much. And what they notice is there is a crate right there. I think it's either right in or right outside, and this is one of the, I think that's the other crate on the other side. But there is now actually gunfire finally happening. Arrow CK trying to find some damage, going to be breaking some walls, but no shots landed on any enemies just yet. But you see, this is going to be just a lot of materials being used from the duo they're trying to take out, and that's what you want. You're winning out right there just by forcing them to keep building.
Right, absolutely. And something to consider as well, and kind of in opposition of this team, is Arrow's committing a lot of ammunition to win this. So we see they're already down to 173 bullets, which feels like a lot, but when you have to continuously be shooting through walls like this, and even if you get a kill here, you might not be able to pick up the ammunition or the materials after it.
You've got a Scar, so that's a really good AR, but there's going to be someone coming down as control now, I believe. It's just outside of the circle a little bit. They're going to try to heal up here. Their partner, Harsh, is very, very low. They do have some shields, but I don't think they have any heals. So Harsh is going to have to go for a full shield. They do have, it looks like some chug splashes. So they can throw those out, get some heals back, but showing Harsh from the teams that we said to look out for. They are finding themselves in a bit of a bind once again. We saw them being taken out last time around the top 20, so that isn't where they wanted to be. We'll see if they can do better. And now again, everyone's just, it's just like every time the storm moves, everyone's just getting a little bit closer, but no one's rubbing shoulders just yet. You remember, social distancing, gotta stay 6 feet apart at all times. But Mid Complex taking a lot of damage. Mars also taking damage, so there are fights breaking out all over this monstrosity of a structure.
Yeah, I mean, Mid Complex about to stay 6 feet apart and 6 feet under everybody else as they get down into that final just sliver of health bar. It's gonna be 10 HP online there, I think. It's gonna be very aggressive, somehow able to survive. I'm not sure who lost the line of sight onto them, but it looks like they're able to make it out for just a moment. We're back to Harsh and Control. Wow, what a phenomenal shot from Control there. A quick scope if I've ever seen one, able to get some great value super early on with that kind of elimination coming through.
Harsh
it's actually the
down.
first elimination, and yeah, and Harsh going to be taken out off the back of it. So get a kill, take a kill, I guess, as you're going to lose your partner in the card. Even if it's online, this late in the game, I don't think there's a reboot van in Circle, so there's no way to really get them back.
Even if there was, there's no way you can go for it, right? I mean, just look at everyone around you. So it is going to be now them on a solo mission. Control does have 59 shields, so they're not too weak just yet, but they don't have any way to really recover it. The most they can have is 50 because all they have are those mini shields. So using all those resources they had before to try to bring Harsh back into the fight, that's going to be something that's going to cost them a bit later on.
Yeah, Derpy is fishing, gonna get pushed in hyper aggressive here, but I think that bounce pad just threw whoever that was over them rather than into them. That was, I mean, it looks like, yeah, you get a kill for it.
Got knocked.
Cat and Knitter launched themselves into the storm and paid the price. That is super unfortunate there, but I mean, I appreciate the aggression, high risk, high reward, and there's the elimination. Super unfortunate for Cat and Knitter, kind of their own demise, and Derpy is fishing, gets the kill for it, so that's a free 2 points if I've ever seen it. Now, kind of caught out here, a lot of ammo offline for Derpy is fishing. And Hero may have a little bit of their own, but down to 61 bullets in this AR.
Yeah, that's where things get dangerous. You do have a lot of shotgun ammo, but you see everyone is pretty clearly distanced apart, so you really can't take advantage of it. There's going to be some AR ammo, so just a little bit. I think only about 16 was given, so that indicates that both of those teammates don't have too much to give out. So Arrow, CK, and Derp, you're going to have to look at what they got, and they're just going to drop on as the circle keeps on moving. Mid Complex falls. Everyone's starting to fall.
Everybody's just being taken out time and time again. BFB actually eliminated just inside the storm there. We see Kinster taken out as well. Slight taking a lot of damage, and Fear, I believe, is on their lonesome. The other player from Akron was taken out. They're down to 50 health. Empty was just taken offline there, and Ult for Coaching is currently down inside the storm. I Woke Up Dead falls offline as well. Meepy is gone. Money is gone. Kinster is gone. Like, it is going to be instantaneous. 22 teams down to 9 in a minute, if even. Empty taken out by the storm officially, was knocked by Ult for Coaching. I Woke Up Dead is going to be able to find Sky, so takes a lot of damage but gets to live. Amazon Kid is in fact gone. 3 eliminations between Akron here. They're trying to find value. Orange Boy going to be just 1 build away above Akron Fear, but Fear is going to be able to make it out. They'd be a little bit fearful themselves as they are running out of time to do anything. There goes 3 more eliminations. Orange Boy is going to be one of them. I think Fear just got a little bit of damage with the vehicle there. I'm not sure why the vehicle's there to begin with, but I mean, hey, use the tools that you've been given, right?
I think having a car in this circle is actually huge.
Huge.
If you can just drive away, you can just run through. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was the final blow, but it did end up getting a kill right off of it. Oh, I'm not going to be able to live. And now this is where things are getting down to the wire. You see where that circle is. There are barely enough people to survive. And it's in the water. People are swimming through it. And this could be where a heal off happens, but no one wants to settle for that. They want to go for the damage here.
Yeah, they may be forced into a heal off as we see what is that. I mean, that's got to be 5 maximum duos left, 5 teams left online. So already looking at a top 5. Fear being caught in the storm once again, taking 30 damage for it. Super unfortunate, as if Fear goes down, there is nobody to get that resurrection online. Their partner was taken out seemingly ages ago as these players just refuse to die. Arrow dropping in to get hyper aggressive, and Derpy is fishing, going to be up on the high ground. Fear is going to be taken out there by Shaffy. 4 teams left online. Shaffy with a double kill there. Not exactly a duo, but 2 kills nonetheless. Here comes Derpy is fishing from the high ground. And this game really is all about high ground at the end of the day. You get a much better advantage pushing into your team, dropping a mini shield for the teammate there. I think we're only down to 2 duos left online. A lot of strangers just like that going to be left in their lunch. I think that was Shappy just taken out by Mars. Mars going to be taken out. The Storm takes out whoever that was, I think. So now we're down to what I can only assume, yep, is those final 2 teams. BHEGS, Derpy is fishing, and Arrow going to be going up against this. I believe BHEGS is, yep, on their lonesome, going to be taken out. As Mars was taken out by themselves, I think is what the kill feed said there. So a definitely weird thing to look out for, possibly due to fall damage. Derpy is fishing an Arrow CK. However, they are able to secure that second map victory.
Yeah, I think what happened there was at the end, Mars got an elimination, but then actually it was so weak that they got taken out immediately by the Storm afterwards. So kind of weird. You don't see the kill credit go to anyone there, but that's what happened. They were very weak once they won that gunfight. Unfortunately, just they just kind of put their hand into the storm for just a second. Of 10 damage per second that can instantly wipe you if you don't have much on the field. BHEGS again, runner up. Same story. Last person left alive for their duo was not able to get the dub, but that's 2 back-to-back second place finishes. So if you're able to get second, if you're able to get eliminations throughout this 6-game series, and everyone else is like getting first kind of like falls, at other times they're getting 30th, at other points everyone that's getting first is different. That's enough to win this and get that first place prize. You don't even have to get first place at any point during this evening to actually win the grand prize. So BX going to be in a great place, but congratulations to the team that just won, Derpy and Arrow. I was going to say, I love their positioning. They had the high ground for the entirety of that circle moving.
They never dropped it. They never dropped the high ground even for a single moment. I think Arrow dropped at one point, just blasted somebody with a shotgun and then immediately built back up. So they definitely wanted that super aggression with the high ground. Like you said, BHEG second place again. Like, oh darn, second place. But at the same time, you've done that twice. That is a lot of points on board. If you can do that like the 3rd time or even a 4th time, and just like you said, rack up those eliminations slowly but surely, there is a world where that nets you a first point placement, because we've now seen 2 separate teams get first place, but BHEGS has gotten second place twice. So he's gotten those points doubled what these other teams have, which is pretty insane when you really do think about it. But now BHEGS gets to think about it a little bit more during this break. They get to think about their strategy and maybe see what can be done a little bit differently. We're going to throw it to a quick break. Everybody go refill your water bottles, use the restroom if you have to, and we'll see you in just a couple of minutes.
In 2020, we interrupted your regularly scheduled programming to bring you $250,000 worth of scholarships through Intel Inspires. Now, in 2021, we are the regularly scheduled programming. We are proud to announce the new AVGL high school program, backed by a myriad of colleges, influencers, and esports professionals. Up to $400,000 worth of scholarships, paid esports internships, content creator camps, and 50+ exclusive tournaments and events. We know the ropes, and after the experience granted to us through Intel Inspires, we're no longer tying knots, we're tying bows. Because esports isn't about skill, it's not about age, it's not even about experience, it's about attitude. And we at the AVGL are dedicated to bringing that attitude from the vault of the esports corporations and into your classroom. If there's one thing we've learned from a year at the forefront of collegiate esports, it's that professional gaming doesn't start with us. It starts with you.
Welcome back, everybody, to the AVGL Collegiate Champions League. I'm still Septilin, still joined by Jag here to bring you the third game. So we've seen a little bit of switch-ups in terms of who's won, but second place has belonged almost exclusively to BHEGS.
Yep, 2 games, 2 first place winners. A lot of points have already been delegated, but still, we're not even at the halfway point. This is the halfway point right now. 6 games in total tonight. This will be our third one, so nothing is set in stone. But BHEGS has set their duo up in a great position, being the solo member, being left alive, being able to get that second place twice in a row. That's a guaranteed 68 points through 2 games. That's a great place to be. We know they've gotten a few kills along the way as well, so my estimate is that their duo is in first place currently, but it's still a very long night. There's still a lot of Fortnite to be played.
Yeah, I would say that double second place, including those couple of eliminations, I don't think it was ever anything crazy, maybe 4 at most, but just simply adding up those 2 second places, I think has bumped them into that first place slot, because as a reminder, all those teams that showed up here today reset back to 0. So there were certain points gained to make it into grand finals, kind of into this best of 6 in terms of these 6 maps in a row, and then everybody was set to 0 and we start brand new from there. So it's going to be a little bit of shaken up here in terms of who used to be at the top and who's going to be there now.
Yeah, and I think Control and Harsh are 2 of the players that we expect to really pop off. And, you know, there's just been a lot of really good duos here so far. We've not really seen them make it into that top 10 just yet, or at least definitely not the top 5, but 4 more games to make it happen. Overall, the battle bus has already passed over. The players have already landed. We'll see where they go. Seems like there's only 1 duo right now in this part of the map, so I don't think we see any battles happen quite yet, but I mean, this looks like a nice place to be. I mean, I'd love to just be in a cabin here by the lake, you know, it's all peaceful, and then all of a sudden, someone drops on your house and starts shooting at you.
Yeah, I mean, that is quite scary, to say the least, and this is the first time I think we've seen everybody actually hit the ground. There's not a duo taken out instantaneously. We see Orange Boy and I Woke Up Dead just rotating out toward the northern side of the map, trying to get any kind of materials that they can, perhaps looking for early shields, like this Slurp truck that they're going to be able to get some shields off of. But Zigzag Zoe and Salphorus, another team that we know and love, going to be hiding in that gas station. I think Orange Boy spotted them, because he's going to turn tail and run just a little bit here.
Yeah, I think it's because their partner Woke Up Dead is actually a bit behind them. You can kind of see them running on the mini map, so they've got some ways to go. I think the plan is they're going to try to break this Slurp truck. They do have Choke Splash as well, and there's also 2 full shields. So they might be able to both just get a complete full shield from this. Let's see if they... Yeah, there's I Woke Up Dead, so they're just going to go for this. But yeah, I mean, Zigzag Zoe, I don't think they're actually in a line of sight now. I think they're kind of over the hill, so I'm not sure if they do know that there's anyone there right now. They're waiting for that final hit. There it is. And now they don't even need to use anything else. They're just going to get the full shield completely from that. Zigzag Zoe, I think they might have just been spotted out there.
Yeah, no, we saw a moment there where actually we could see Orange Boy double back because he just saw the top of somebody's head as they crossed behind that hill there. I think this is Akron that's currently putting the pressure onto Beastly, Chill Guy, and Tony Pounds, because Tony was taken out of that fight pretty early on. And yeah, going to be eliminated there. A Hackborn going to be able to find Greek as well. And now Beastly, Chill Guy is probably just trying to build and get out of there. Taking a 2v1 this early into a matchup could be nothing short of a disaster. Ready P1 taken out as well. The BFB picks up a 3rd kill. And actually the kill feed's starting to light up just a little bit here pretty early on. The 34 eliminations.
It is indeed, but like you said, there wasn't any right off the get-go, but now things are starting to pile up. Beastly Chill Guy's just trying to kind of stock up on shields, and they should have enough to get a full shield, but they did not get... I don't think they got the reboot card, so they're going to be playing the rest of this game solo, which is not how you want to start it off. Right now, Orange Boy, they are collapsing right now, I believe, onto Zigzag Zoe. Yes, it is, so they did end up following them. This fight is on.
Yeah, this is going to be a very aggressive fight. Orange Boy and I Woke Up Dead trying to find that early value, taking out this big name and able to one-tap Zigzag Zoe there. That shotgun blast going to be able to get it, and they are going to get the information out before dismissing him from the fight very early on. Zigzag Zoe taken out by I Woke Up Dead. It's going to be that 2v1, and they've got recon on where the surviving player is. Fear from Akron is able to chase down Beastly Chill Guy and confirm that elimination as well. So that duo now picking up their 2nd kill. Orange Boy and I Woke Up Dead only sitting at 1, but they know where that partner is, and they're probably going to hunt them down.
And one thing I find very interesting about this circle right now is that there are actually 2 llamas located in it. So when we see people start to collapse, they might be able to find them later on. But this is a lot more centralized. It is towards the right more than it is the left. But, I mean, this is the most centralized we've seen so far. The last 2 games have been more towards the bottom of the map. So this is going to be a lot easier for most players to actually get into later on. So I feel like we're going to have even more people than we've seen previously make it into that final stage of the game, where everyone just starts to kind of build up and hope and pray that no one is right next to them and takes them out immediately. But right now, Nando is going to be going for a bit of a drive. They're about to run into a bunch of people there at Slurpy Swamp. See if they actually end up going toe-to-toe in a second. And I'm wondering if it's Lovo's team, because like you said earlier, this is a location they indicated they like going to. But they might have swapped things up. That might have been a bait for all we know. It might have just been, something they said on stream just to kind of put people in that direction so they can actually go somewhere else.
Yeah, we saw some great aggression coming out from them in those games, and honestly, now that you say, I don't think we ever actually saw them drop here, so that very well could have been a bait just to force more people to drop here. But I definitely know that we've seen some teams land pretty consistently, and actually, we see a team just above Slurpy Swamp there, and that very well could be Lovo and their partner Perksy, but it could also be any of our remaining 31 other teams. We see the aggression from Nano. I think they may just be heading north themselves, trying to head toward the circle. And as we see at the top of the mini-map, there's 3 duos that are holding hands right there. I don't think anybody has opened fire quite yet, but we just have to play that patience game waiting. No, I just saw Perksy's name. That is, in fact, Lovo and Perksy, who just left Slurpy Swamp.
It looks like they did stay true to their word. They're now going to be in a fight. They're taking out the winners of the last matchup. That's Derpy is fishing right now. That's a duo that just got first place in game 2. Now, Nando, they're still running up, so this could be a huge early fight. It seems like there is one duo that's just kind of bowing out of it, so now it's going to be still 3 duos just kind of right next to each other. Lobo, there they are. They're going to be taking some fire, but they haven't taken any damage quite yet.
Yeah, their builds are going to be getting destroyed, but they've been building fast enough, good enough reaction time to make sure they're not being taken out. And Perksy forced into a bit of a hiding spot, going to rotate around, try to group up with Lovo so they're not kind of stuck out on their lonesome. Now going to be committing a lot of materials to the fight as well. They do have 500 in terms of that steel, that third and strongest material. It also takes the longest to build. They're going to be caught out here, kind of forced to turtle quite a bit. Lovo going to take some damage, but gets even more, finds Nando in the fight, looking to find the damage onto that final teammate as well. Nando was down, but not out quite yet. Maybe they're able to get some recon, but no, he was unfortunately eliminated there. Shaffy takes out Shaffy. Talk about unfortunate, possibly due to fall damage or maybe just a bit of a mishap. So Shaffy currently down, but not out. Either can get rest right back up. And Zubiya, no shields online, going to take 30 more damage. They are a single shot from death, and that is going to be that final shot. Levo and Perksy, they're able to put 2 kills on the board.
And while we have a break in the action, we have gotten an update from our amazing production staff as well as the lovely people over at AVGL about the standings of where teams are right now. And I'm just going to go over the top 3 really quickly. It is going to be the University of Maryland squad, Behegs and Mars at 96 points right now. That's 19 points exactly, almost 20 points ahead of Derpy's Fishing and Aero CK, who just won match 2, and a little bit more above Loyola, Mello, and Frosty, who got first in the first matchup. So we talked about how getting second place consistently could work out for them. It does have them ahead by almost 20 points. So right now, the University of Maryland squad is the one to beat. As we see Perksy and Lobo, they're going to be kind of just running through the storm. They do have, at least I see, 1 fish online, so they will be able to just absorb this damage and eventually get through it. But I'm sure they're on the lookout for a car right now because this is not the ideal place to be.
Yeah, definitely not the place you want to be right now. And they can't outrun the storm either. We can see they're desperately trying to. They're just not going to be able to make it yet. This is going to be Joe Scilia and I believe Bokami as they're just hiding out right outside Craggy Cliffs, trying to get into that circle as well. They're just on the outside, but it looks like there's a duo waiting for them. It's going to be a 2v2 matchup. The build battle coming to fruition here, but everybody also trying to simultaneously get in the storm. So it's going to be a very horizontal fight rather than a vertical one.
Yeah, everything's going down right now at Crag Cliffs. There's another duo you can kind of see in the minimap just above them, kind of in the storm right now. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but depending on where they enter, they could try it a third party. Looks like they won't be at the specific place. We're going to be moving on as another fight is going on. Dr. Duke trying to take out Miss Hop. Miss Hop going to be 2-tapped. That's going to be, I believe, the team wipe. I don't see anyone else in sight, so that's going to be...
Yeah.
Like right now, only 30 teams left out of 35, but I feel like at this point in the game, we're, quite a few minutes in, and this is probably the lowest amount of elims we've seen thus far.
I agree. I Woke Up Dead is going to be able to get a knock there, but I Woke Up Dead is going to get knocked as well. Orange Boy is going to be eliminated. That's the duo down the drain. Joe Scilia is going to be able to find them right away, so that's definitely not going to be a good look. We saw some great promise from them earlier, but unfortunately taken out instantaneously. Detrada is going to be knocked as well. The elimination, going to be taken out, so that's going to be the elimination as well. And we see another duo coming up on the side of Sweetle and Dr. Duke here, but they may be just far enough away to not quite see one another.
And there is a building in the way. They might end up running into each other in just a little bit, but I just want to remind the audience watching at home, getting a knockdown does not get you points. You gotta get the final blow. Even if they get resurrected later from one of those vans, it's okay. You can just you can double your money. You can get a second kill on them and just get killed 2 kills. But it looks like Dr. Duke, and Sweetle are actually trying to chase these players down. It is a big Riv and their partner now that are trying to run for the hills. They know there's someone right behind them, and they're going to pull out the sniper rifle.
I mean, that could have been inches off. That was so desperately close here from Micah Hu, but unfortunately, Big Rib is going to be able to stay alive just a little bit longer. These duos going to be going toe-to-toe in another horizontal battle, as Micah does not want to be caught from that high ground. They've got the low ground disadvantage here. And there's actually another duo approaching up behind the people on the high ground right now. So we see kind of 3, nearly 4 duos really coming toe-to-toe here, and I don't think any of them are going to be ready for a 4v4 matchup or several 2v2s. Hackborn is going to be knocked and taken out by Mars, and BHEGS picks up another elimination. So more kills online. They secure that second place. You know, that's arguably what they're shooting for at this point. So if they're able to get that online, that'll really secure them a very comfortable lead.
I think if you consistently can get like first through third in all 6 matchups, you are almost guaranteed to be like top 2 in the finishing of prizes, depending on, you know, where everyone else lands up. But those are going to be 2 kills. That's going to be 4 points for them at least. So that's going to move them up to 100. So they're going to be the first team to reach 100 points already. Yay! That is a bit of a milestone, honestly. The first one to get 3 digits officially. So that's going to be a great thing. And you know, that's the thing is, like, you know who the top dog is probably going into this. Like, I'm sure the players are like aware, like, oh, like BHEGS has finished, you know, second place twice, but you have no idea where they are. So you run into them and you're like, oh, like that's a player I need to take out. But you can't just like track them down. You can't just like try to find them out, which is, you know, that's like one of the worst parts. Like it's RNG. It's all about RNG. We've talked about it so much, but that's another element of it.
Absolutely. In a lot of other competitive games, you know, you'd see somebody, if they are desperately in the lead or they're really far ahead, you could really go out of your way, put a target on their back, and everybody's going to try to kill them. But in Fortnite, you don't know who you're fighting until they're eliminated. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on as well, is that, you know, people could try to kill them if they run into them, but you also may not know that's them. So it's just this huge kind of, you know, is this the person we're looking for? BHEGS and Mars looks like they're going to be playing a little bit defensive. They're definitely playing it slow, trying to protect their heads and not get sniped or taken out early on. They want to make it into this circle because honestly, if I'm not mistaken, coming in top 3 here, like that might net them a guaranteed top 3 placement unless another team in the matchup is going to place top 3 times in a row. Lava, however, is going to be knocked, not taken out quite yet, but knocked, you know, down to that 0 health, and they're going to start kind of slowly but surely losing that health until their teammate can res them. That can be huge here, though, if Lovo is able to get taken out of the fight early on.
Yeah, Lovo needs to stay alive. I'm sure they're trying to find their partner. I'm not sure. They haven't. Now there's the knock, or there's the kill, so they are officially out of this. Now it's up to Percy to see if they can bring that duo back, and from the depths, maybe they can get the boot up card, get the reboot. We'll see how that plays out. But for now, it looks like the Hags and Mars, they're just kind of going for materials. It looks like they've kind of maxed out most of their materials. You see 500 for at least wood and brick. Not sure where their metal's at right now. But they're actually kind of out in the open. You can see that everyone started to bunker up a little bit. You see that 2 different teams have taken high ground. It looks like they might actually be trying to go towards one of those high ground positions. They might try to take that over. And while it's a very aggressive play, it could be a good one. But look what's on the other side of that field. I mean, this is very risky play right now.
Yeah, they're pushing into a 2v2. They're going to try to take
Mars
a 2v2.
Is down.
Oh, yeah, no, they're not. They're getting third party. They're getting third party from behind. Let's see who it is. It's going to be Money. The meta is going to be able to find Mars, and that's a guaranteed kill. BHEGS has got to run. You're stuck between 2 other duos, and BHEGS might get caught out here too. We're talking about the importance of placing that top 3. And if BHEGS is taken out before even top 10, that could be a disaster. It's all about survival now.
Just running,
it's all about trying to run, because BHEGS cannot take, you know, if they take this 2v2 and by some means win it, there's 3 more 2v2s or 2v1s waiting for them just around the corner. So BHEGS gonna bunker up, and Mars getting third partied like that is a disaster. But honestly, BHEGS is kind of used to it at this point. Both times they've come in second place. I think they were on their lonesome for at least a while.
Yeah, both times they were the last person standing. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like the whole duo was wiped at the very end. It was just BHEGS kind of living out that dream, getting a few kills, and then not being able to clinch out the first place victory. But they are still alive, so that's huge.
Right.
We are now down to 30 duos, so the points, you know, get a little bit higher. 6th through 20th will be 7. 21st through 30th is 4. So it doesn't matter if they fall, you know, between now or the next 6 elims. It's only going to be 4 points, which means they'll be at, I think, 104 unless they got some more kills there, which is not a big enough jump to really secure that first place standing, because I feel like a lot of the other teams that we talked about, they're still around. They're still being able to get points. So the Hags right now is going to have to play a very, very safe strategy. We see, I mean, Derpy is fishing. They're still around. I don't see their duo partner. I think that, yeah, didn't they fell a bit earlier, so like one of those other first place finishes. Like they're going to have to also play it very calm and collected. They really cannot take fights. They really just have to run in. Maybe when another fight is going on, they cannot be an initiator here. And we've already gotten to that point where everyone's just going to be kind of chilling and seeing where the circle ends up.
Absolutely. It's going to be one of those slow play games again. And we see right now Sebi and Empty sitting in the middle of the desert here, right outside the Coliseum. We see Joskilia as well. And actually, I just learned as I was looking at the standings that Sergeant Sash and Cut are also from the University of Akron, which is very close to my home. So that is neat to see two teams here participating from there. And they are both in the top. Yeah, I was going to say they're both in the top 10 as well, sitting at both 6th and 4th place respectively. So, woohoo, go Akron. I'm glad to see a team from Ohio bringing the heat like this. And now, it's going to be all about can they continue to stay up there because, this is only the 3rd of 6. This top 10, there could be 10 completely different schools in the next 3 games. Like, it really comes down to how these final games are going to be performed.
And as we see, the circle is moving in once again, so everyone's going to be trying to rush in near the middle. Now we see where the circle will be next, and there's a lot of teams on the outside looking in, so the Mad Dash will be starting shortly. We're going to see if they can get some shots in through here. No, just going to make a hole in the wall, but it's not going to find anything. And as we mentioned, this is the other team from Akron, so they've done pretty well for themselves so far. And I got to say, like, it must be so awkward if you run into the other duo from your university and you take them down, you're like... at one hand, it's like, oh, like, at least someone from our university is doing well. But it's like, oh, man, like, I want to be the one winning. I don't want them to win.
And I just love to think that maybe they're all sitting in the same room. So that might be super awkward.
Or, gaming room.
They're all just in the lab and they kill each other. That would be pretty uncomfortable. But hopefully they do not get to that point anytime soon. Cut now, getting super aggressive, going across the river, pushing. What is that, 8 duos on both sides? That's going to be some hyper-aggression very early on. Sergeant Sash is still alive, but it really looks like Cut's kind of just out on their lonesome for the time being.
Sergeant Sash taking a lot of damage, a lot of heavy fire.
No.
They're both they are both together. They are both now trying to heal up, mostly Sergeant Sash because they're the one who took damage. There's no heals. It's only shields, and you see a lot of teams, they decide to go for heals instead. And sure, you can get a full shield, but you're not going to be at full health. So you gotta balance it between teams. But on the other side, we're going to see someone end up getting killed right there.
Yeah, we're going to see some very aggressive plays coming out here and Cut down to half shields as well. Archer just unloading those 400 bullets that they have online into these metal walls. And Sergeant Sash and Cut, honestly, they've just got to try to get out because I realistically don't think they have the materials to turtle for 500 more bullets coming out from this team.
Yeah, and Salfors is the one who fell there. So I think they were insta-kills. So that's another big name that's going to fall a bit early on. Still in top 20 teams right now. 23 left to be exact. 23 duos, 40 people alive. So some whole solos out there. We know 1 or 2 already. Padney doesn't even take damage. And look at this. It's nighttime. Everyone's, just trying to build in, go to sleep for the night. And all the people just keep breaking walls. You just want to take a nap, right? It's very dark out. Why are people so rude? Except once. But in all seriousness, again, it's kind of the thing that we talked about earlier, ammo versus resources. So on one hand, if you break walls, you're able to get out more materials for later on, but you're also using a lot of your own resources in terms of what you can shoot at. And right now, Archer is trying to build out of this somehow, some way.
Yeah, but Mandinka was taken out as well, so even if Archer lives, you're into those 1v2s constantly. You've got your teammate, but you've got 3 seconds to res them, and if they take more storm damage, I think that's going to be it for Mandinka. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to have the time to res, but no, it looks like maybe, but no. This crossfire coming is going to ruin it. So close, but so far away. On the bright side, if you're Archer, you get the bullets and you get the materials, but now you've got to take consistent 2v1s and just try to get any kind of value that you can. That's definitely a difficult place to be in, but Perksy's in the same spot.
It looks like for a second they were going to try to just jump up and try to build on one of the higher levels, but then they ended up backing out of that, which I think was a mistake. I feel like actually if you're able to build up and kind of create more space, create more walls in between you and the people shooting at you, you could have possibly gotten that res off, but there was so little time. You got to make those split-second decisions, and they're very difficult. We're going to see someone go for this. They're going to get, I don't know if that's worth it. They do get a orange shotgun, so perhaps going for that. It was a risky play because you're going to find yourself kind of out in no man's land. Even when you build around the crate, it's still very difficult to actually get what you want from it, but you do. But Demon Juice is going to just be dropping right into you.
Oh wow, dropping right into you and giving you almost all of their health and shields. That was a bit of a disaster for Demon Juice, who, to be fair, had no idea somebody was down there. But I think they even took a little bit of fall damage right when they hit the ground. I think they jumped from a little bit too high, and then we just saw some great aggression coming out from Flapjack. And like you said, split-second decisions. Choosing to go after a supply drop like that is definitely one of them, because that not only does that give a giant red flag of showing everybody where you are. Once it gets open, they're like, oh, somebody's obviously right there. But, mean, that's also just desperate because you could get some pretty garbage loot out of those as well. You know, you might get something that's not helpful this late in the game. You could get an orange sniper rifle, and who needs one of those, you know? So it's like, you really want to consider the risk of, what am I going to get that's going to make it worth it to put myself out in the open like that? And BHEG's still alive, but being shot at by like 4 teams at this point. Sergeant Sash, one of those Akron players, taken out by Harsh, who's able to get a little bit of damage there. I believe Control is still alive as well. I'm sure we'll find out in just a couple of minutes. And BHEG's just playing that long game, hiding and trying not to draw attention to themselves, hugging the edge of the storm.
When you think about points, again, once we get out of the top 20, that's where, you know, the point starts to really increase.
Yep.
So this is really important they stay alive for
this
at
is
least
huge.
one more elimination, one more duo wipe. I mean, you want to get into the top 10 realistically. Top 3 again is obviously where you want to be, but they are still being focus fired by a lot of different people. It's Kawhi and Assassin who are just shooting from above. I think you just got to run for it, honestly. Just try to build as much boost as you can, because there is the circle, so you've got to get out of there. You're gonna burrow yourself in. You're going to be able to hide, and you're going to be able to speed out of it, and somehow, somebody BHEGs again going to live through all of this and just speed through, but you got to be careful because there's the road.
Personally, I am loving BHEGs' play style of just somehow surviving all the time. I don't know how they do it, but they just run underground through the entirety of that matchup. Down to 70 health, surprisingly. Only takes 10 damage in that matchup, has plenty of healing online as well. This Chug Splash is going to be able to get them alive a little bit longer, yeah, because that confirms Harsh and Control are both alive. Rocky and Bonix going to be playing that same game of just slow it down. They get pulled out of the storm just a little bit, and they're going to be able to keep themselves alive. I think they both took 10, if not 20 damage, and honestly, BHEGs has found a spot to hide all over again. Like, I honestly think they could outlive a couple more teams.
They've gotten into the top 20 already. We're down to 19, so I think really it becomes singular points once you get to the top 10. It starts to scale up by 2 for the most part. There are going to be even more people falling, so now it's 18. Bonix and Rocky, they're still
with the triple kill there, I think.
That's a lot of points. That's 6 altogether, unless one of those was just a knock that followed, but we'll find out about that later, as right now they're going to be Rocky and honestly, they're going to be running into, I believe, a duo. They're going to be taking a lot of damage. Rocky just falling to below 30 health. They still have a Chug Splash. They still have a fish, so there should be a way out of this, but they're in the circle right now.
Yeah, Rocky eats a rocket and gets stuck out in the storm there. That's going to be the second player I've seen fall to the storm in a matter of seconds. Down to those top 10 teams, I want to point out BHEG's still alive. I just want everyone to know that. Sebi and Joe Scalia are also going to fall. Bokami is going to be taken out. Ideal right now is on a rampage. Ideal and Mick Complex have both gotten, I think, 3 kills in the last 20 seconds. BHEGs is going to be able to find Fear top 5 and even getting kills off the back of it. Takes a 1v1 and wins. Now we're going to see a bunch of eliminations come through. Control going to be knocked. Stems finds Flapjack. Right now, I think there's 2 players alive from Akron, but they're on separate duos, so they're both playing by their lonesomes. BHEGs is going to be taken out by the storm, makes it to top 4. Micah is going to be taken out by the storm as well. Ideal now going to fall. It's going to be up to Mick Complex. Control finds Control taken out there. Very unfortunate Harsh on their lonesome. We've got a lot of solo players right now. Down to these final teams, I think it's Mello is alone, Control is alone, and then we just see this one duo, which is Stems and M-Core.
Mello is still alive. Remember, Mello's part of the squad that won that first matchup. Yep. They are in the top 3 right now, 3rd to be exact, so they win this, and this would be huge for them. Stemps, though, is still alive. So is McCord. That's the only duo that's left. It's a 2v1. It's Harsh versus the world, and Harsh has the high ground. Mello is actually still alive, so it is 4v1, or 2v1v1. That's going to be 1 elimin now. It's just down to Harsh, I believe. Yeah, Harsh going to be running with a shotgun, but isn't going to get the kill. We are going to have Stemps and McCord winning it. Mello was not able to get the job done there. Finishing top 3 once again, but we're going to see for the 3rd time in a row a different first place finisher, Septilence.
Yep, BHEGs unfortunately does not make top 3, but I think made top 5. I think it was actually 5th. So definitely,
I think it was 4th or 5th.
Even better, yeah. I mean, you make top 5, that's going to be a solid start. We see, like you said, another team coming out in that first place. They do it, and we actually saw Harsh almost get one of those knocks. We saw one of those players was down to, I mean, had to be maximum of 10 health. So Harsh and Control, that team we talked about so early on with that aggression, they finally put their names on the board, a 2nd place finish. Definitely nothing to shy away from.
No, it's not indeed. And again, this is only the halfway point. So where we are, with where the teams are, you know, where the leads are, who's leading, that can just flip on a dime. But BHEGs is just giving every other team a run for their money. The survivability, I mean, if they'd been chased down earlier on, that would have been a very low finish. But now they're guaranteed 25, 27 points on top of what we already know is past 100. So they should be still, I think, in a bit of a lead. We do know that Mello was able to get 2nd place, so they'll get 34 still. Probably able to jump up into 2nd place overall in the standings. But we'll have to see where all those things lie after we take another quick break. But don't go anywhere, because matchup number 4 is just around the corner.
In 2020, we interrupted your regularly scheduled programming to bring you $250,000 worth of scholarships through Intel Inspires. Now, in 2021, we are the regularly scheduled programming. We are proud to announce the new AVGL high school program, backed by a myriad of colleges, influencers, and esports professionals. Up to $400,000 worth of scholarships, paid esports internships, content creator camps, and 50+ exclusive tournaments and events. We know the ropes, and after the experience granted to us through Intel Inspires, we're no longer tying knots, we're tying bows. Because esports isn't about skill, it's not about age, it's not even about experience, it's about attitude. And we at the AVGL are dedicated to bringing that attitude from the vault of the esports corporations and into your classroom. If there's one thing we've learned from a year at the forefront of collegiate esports, it's that professional gaming doesn't start with us. It starts with you.
Welcome back, my friends, to the AVGL Collegiate Champions League. We just wrapped up that third game with yet another new first place team, and we are going to be jumping into the fourth of sixth. So, we finally get past that half place. A couple of these teams may be securing their placements in that top 10, but now you've got to think, a couple of these other teams, they're running out of time to really make some stuff happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of two sides of the coin. If you have not been performing well so far, there might be time to come back, but I mean, it's do or die right now. At the halfway mark, I feel like this is kind of where you can separate the teams that will be able to possibly contest for those top 8 spots later on versus those teams that might not have a real shot now. But a first place finish could just catapult you right back to the top, so we'll see how things go. And as we get into this game, I just want to remind you about our lovely sponsor for this event, Shop Esport Certified, a gaming gear destination exclusive for college and university students. Discover today's premier esports gear from Razer, SteelSeries, HyperX, and more, all at epic savings. Visit today at esportcertified.com. And as a reminder, we are doing a giveaway in the chat. There are headsets up for grabs. If you want to have a shot at one of those, be sure to text Esport Certified in the chat. Just type it down. It's a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be Esport with just 0 S's, so Esport certified. Definitely something to keep in mind. Zuia taking a little bit of damage early on. I'm not even sure who it was from, but we've got 2 duos, and this is a place we know a certain duo loves, so we may see them coming up very soon. But no, it's going to be Empty bringing in the SMG, actually going to be losing the firefight there. Zuia isn't going to be able to get that, or isn't going to be able to be taken out quite yet, and Sebi already taking a lot of damage as well. Zuia has 10 bullets left online. I think you've got to run from this one.
Yeah, you do get a shotgun, though, so maybe you can go back into this. You do actually have a slightly better health pool. You might just go for the final elimination.
Way!
You do, and now it's going to be Nando who's going to be running into this, but Nando's going to fall as well. This is different squads.
Yeah, these are actually different squads than I think we expected at all, and it looks like we're going to see just barely, they're going to see Zuia with the double kill, Empty and Sebi already gone.
Nando runs in, does get back, so I think I was wrong about that. It was actually just the one duo that they were facing against. Sometimes in those big fights, you kind of get lost, but there it is going to be Nando who tried to run and help their partner. With quick enough damage to keep them both alive, they get the first elims, and that's the first duo to drop, though I do see that looks like there are fewer players in that, so I think there are 1 or 2 duos out there right now that are without a partner. So already some elims coming in a bit early on, and I've always found this interesting. I mean, like in a competitive setting like this, do you go for the AI characters? Like, do you try to kind of play the map objectives, or you just play for the circle? I think it's probably the latter, but there are some treasures to be found throughout the map if you get like certain keys and stuff like that to unlock certain areas.
I was going to say sometimes maybe if the circle moves in favor of doing one of those, you can kind of slip it in under the wire or kind of under the radar and give you a mild advantage in an early firefight. But at the same time, like you said, pretty high risk, high reward. And getting the reward arguably harder said than done. So it's definitely something these teams have to take into consideration. Do we want to take that risk to begin with? And like you said, only 1 duo is gone, which means we've got two people running around by their lonesome right now as we see 4 people have been eliminated. So it's something to consider. It's just, there's already a couple of singles running around here, and they are not looking to mingle. I'm sure of that.
I was just thinking of that too, just at the pun. So I'm glad we were on the same headspace of that one. Bonix right now and Rocky, they're both, no shield. Rocky actually took a little bit of damage. Rocky a bit ahead as well. So they have chug splashes. They could try to use them in tandem. I remember one thing we talked about last time was that chug splash, one of those abilities that heals up everyone in a vicinity. But in the meantime, we're going to be walking away from them, as right now Beast Ghost is in a bit of a pickle. Looks like they are in at least a 2v2 scenario. They're going to be trying to take out Shafiq, but Shafiq's going to be the one nailing the shot on them. Miss Hop, though, going to be hitting the counter pick. So, that's going to be a fight that wraps up quickly. Shafiq and Alt for coaching going to live through that one, and blink and you miss it.
Yeah, like you said, blink and you miss it. Shafi able to just sneak in. Ult for coaching does go down, but there's not even time to pull the trigger a second time and get the elimination because Shafi just falls from the heavens and a single blast to the face was all it took. Now we're going to be jumping over to Detrata and Sky. It looks like they're going to be a little bit on their lonesome here in the caddy corner, but there is a duo slight ways away, a little bit off to their east, and now you've got to think, they're probably not even aware of it, but if they are, do they go for the early firefight, or do they really try to secure a bit of a slower approach?
I think you go for the slower approach. I mean, the circle is pretty far right now, so if you're gonna, take your time, you might as well just go for resource building. Make sure you can get as much as you can. Just try to break as much as you can. That's what they're doing right now. We're gonna be looking elsewhere, and I don't think we've seen a lot of boats today. I think this is the first time we've actually seen a team on a boat, so we'll see where they're trying to go. And there's a lot of options right now of kind of the water play, because sure, I mean, obviously there's the ocean that kind of surrounds the map, but there is also waterways that run through the entirety of it, so you can just try to break back into it. But right now they are very far out to sea, kind of going on a trip.
My best guess is that their duo has already been eliminated and they're looking for long game. That's just the only thing I can really think of, and the only reason
Makes
you'd
sense.
be out this far is, yeah, we see Hockey's already been eliminated there, so this is just going to be CEJ or Sedge or however that is to be pronounced, where it's just going to be them trying to survive, trying to outlive as many duos as they can, and very few people are going to go that far out into the ocean, right? So definitely a strategy. Going to get themselves back in circle, it seems, which of course gets them a lot closer to the beach and definitely within bullet range. So maybe they're going to give up on this strategy, but they're just trying to stall for as long as possible, I would guess.
I mean, I think the way you play this, right, is you go in to the shore a little bit just to try to find what you can, and then immediately you back out. You just continue to play in the ocean. I mean,
Sure.
if you have a way to fish, that's huge for you, and they do. Already able to get one shield fish, so you can just kind of stay in the water as long as possible and play out there, and then eventually you might have to run back in depending on where the circle is. But for now, it's actually going to be in your favor, so you can, especially because it is at the top right side of the map, so you can just kind of.
You can hide for a while.
Yeah, you can hide for a while. And I mean, that's the strategy, right? I mean, we saw earlier BHEGs, it worked out wonders for them. They were able to stay alive for so long, get into that top 5, despite being down their partner like in the top 20. So just why even bother about going for it where everyone else is setting up? Just play at your own pace, play far away. And I'm surprised we haven't seen more teams do that. Obviously, less options the closer the circle gets, but for now, just play it ways away. And we're still at 30 teams, or 30 duos, so there's still a lot of people alive here.
Yeah, and something of note that I want to point out is this is I Woke Up Dead and Orange Boy up against Beastly Chill Guy and Tony, which we saw this exact matchup in the last round, and Orange Boy and I Woke Up Dead won it with flying colors. They just completely eliminated Beastly Chill Guy and Tony very early on. I think they were actually the first duo to fall in that last round. So now I Woke Up Dead and Orange Boy looks like they're just going to be playing patient. They're not going to get as bloodthirsty this time, and it looks like they're going to allow them to run, just trying to hold on to this high ground advantage.
And again, we talked about this earlier, but this is the difference that we've seen so far between, qualifiers versus the finals. Teams are not going to take any risk. They're not going to be chasing after kills. They're going to be playing for position every day of the week and twice on Sundays. But today is Saturday, and there are no second chances. So Orange Boy, they're just going to be chilling out for now. And again, I think we need to mention this a bit earlier. We haven't really had time to talk about this as much, but the matching skins as teammates. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see the camaraderie.
Absolutely, it's you love to see the camaraderie, and you love to see they're duos in the game and out of the game. They're definitely showing that kind of solidarity with one another. And also, I'm sad I have not seen a Peely at all today, but I'll let these players do what they want to do. Maybe busting out the bright
you got it last
skin.
time.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe busting out the bright yellow skin isn't the best thing you want to do when you're hiding from your opponent. So I definitely do not blame them. But now this first circle coming to a close in about a minute and a half, and I believe this team is currently inside of it, and they've got plenty of places to hide for the time being. I feel like this round in particular much slower than what we're used to. We've only seen 3 duos get taken out, and at this point, I feel at least 6 or 7 are normally gone.
Yeah, I feel like it's getting slower and slower, but right now Sedge
no.
has been found out. They did not decide to just play at sea. Rocky and Ponix are right on their tail.
Yeah, and this is a 2v1. I don't think Sedge even has the kit to try and fight. Maybe a couple lucky shotgun blasts here and there, but you cannot afford to miss a single shot. You've got nowhere to run. You do not even have a boat nearby, so this is definitely between a rock and a hard place, or rather a rock and several dozen bullets, as Sedge is just having some clips unloaded. There goes that duo, and that is just going to be another kill on board for Bonix and Rocky.
Well,
but they might get into a fight soon here.
Epic and Uzi are on the hill. They probably watched that go down, but it looks like they're going to avoid that. We're going to be moving on to other parts of the map right now. We're going to go to Craggy Cliffs, and there are 2 duos. I think 3 duos, maybe no, just 2 for the time being. There's one a little bit more to the side, but right now you can see that Kinster has, I think, an idea of where this other duo is, but again, they're not running right into this fight. They're just kind of taking it from a distance. They're just, again, building up materials. They're focusing on mats more than anything else.
Yeah, they're definitely approaching in the way where, like, Kinster saw somebody go into a building, but other than that, has no information on where they are. Also, we left this, and Rocky is suddenly alone. So,
there's Bonix.
Oh, there's Bonix. Okay, I was like, Bonix didn't die, but he's also not with Rocky. So now it seems like maybe they're just moving up toward the beach. Uzi and Epic, slowly but surely, it looks like they're going to be going for this approach. Uzi trying to find a little bit of a high ground advantage, but as we see Rocky and Bonix get to build up on their side, this is going to be a long distance 2v2. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think anybody's got a sniper rifle, so this is going to be a weird one.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at Epic's loadout right now, and they have a shotgun and a deagle. But there is going to be eliminations elsewhere. There is going to be Mandeek and Archer getting 1 duo down, so we just saw the tail end of that fight. Might be able to pick up a blue AR for their troubles, but I mean, going back to what we just saw, like, there's no way it looks like that Epic can engage that from long distance. They might be trying to play a short range, but there is going to be there's going to be a lot of kills, and there's BHEGs and Mars just continuing to rack up points. We don't have updated standings quite yet, folks, but we'll try to get you those as soon as possible. I think we might get them after this game, going into game 4 at some point. See where that ends up, but from our, kind of our guesstimation, we believe they are still in first place, but that lead might have shrunk a little bit.
Right, yeah, we if we can, we're guessing that they're still in that first place area, and of course, that lead may have shrunk. So yeah, we're gonna have those for you guys after this game. We just had that confirmed for us. So after this game, it'll all be updated, and Sulfurous taking a 2v1, and with the confidence Sulfurous is approaching, I'm not sure they know it's a 2v1. They may think it's a 1v1, because that is hyper aggressively pushing into a 2v1 like that. Mid Complex and Ideal, a team that really popped off at the end of that last round. They got like, I think 6 eliminations between the two of them. They're gonna be pushing into a 2v2, and Xbox Assassin about to be assassinated themselves. Gonna have to put up a couple metal walls, and I don't think they even know. Yeah, the Complex snuck in right behind them as they rotated for the build. Looks like Ideal is gonna try to find Kawaii Stitch as well. It's gonna be that 2v1 matchup. And again, we've got a duo with matching skins. It does nothing for them in terms of performance, but it's just nice for us to see that kind of matching between the two of them. They don't really have great kits, to be honest. A couple of green weapons there, but they're gonna be able to find another kill. Mars and BHEGS were able to take out Sulfurous in that matchup, so now they've got at least 4 guaranteed points online. They're going to be pushing into Ideal and Mid Complex, who have been known as some giant slayers before. I talked about at the beginning of tonight how they how a couple of teams won a 2v2 immediately after rebooting somebody, and I was thinking of Ideal and Mid Complex, who eliminated Harsh and Control in that final round of last week. But of course, that was then. This is now BHEGS and Mars with that classic strategy that somehow allowed BHEGS to live into top 5 last time, just shrinking into the ground and booking it.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think they had any idea that there was someone right near them, because Ideal didn't have a shield. They did have the resources to bring it back, but they weren't able to do it quite yet, so I think they were going to wait that one out. But now we're going to be looking at Control and Harsh, who, I got to say it, I feel like they've been, not as good as we expected so far. This is a team that did very good in qualifiers. They're at the tip of the tippy top at the, I think week 2 qualifiers. Week 3 still went pretty well in their favor. I think they won one of them, or at least got to final 2 a few times. But here, I mean, they're still alive right now. But it's still like top 20, right? We're only at 26 right now, so there's still a lot of game to be played in this matchup. So a lot of the times, I think their positioning just has kind of been punished. Like, they find themselves a lot of times in the middle of that big engagement area, and here it is. Like, it's already starting to develop. I mean, look at all the structures that are being built around. This is where everyone is starting to come into, and this is where we get to that phase where everyone's just gonna build up and hope for the best, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But it's like Perksy and Lovo are also going to be a part of that. Just going to edit that wall to get back in. Derpy's Fishing, one of the top teams as well. So a lot of the top players, a lot of the top names that we've talked about today, they are all kind of coming into this one area right now.
Absolutely, and it looks like I just got a small snippet of the standings, and it looks like BHEGS and Mars are in fact still in first place, and Mello was moved up to second place with Frosty. So all of our predictions were correct. So moving forward, we've got Lovo and Perksy, who did a great job in that final week of qualifiers, and now they haven't been able to perform as on par with that here tonight, going up against Derpy is Fishing and Arrow, who have one win tonight under their belt, coming in first place.
Yeah, and they are still in first place, but we also said the lead going to be a bit smaller, so they're at 120. A few other teams also got to 100. In fact, all the top 3 are at 100. As you said, Mello and Frost are going to be at 107, and then we're going to see a little bit below them, 101 is Stemps and MCore. So not too far behind. The lead has shrunk a little bit. The gap has not widened at all, but for now, BHEGS and Mars, they're going to be at the top of it. And here's the big thing right now is that Mars has not fallen yet, and I don't mean to, poke too much fun at their expense, but they have always been the one that's been falling in that doing. Oh my god, what a snipe there from Juice.
Yeah, these two have really been going for these snipes. That was the third, I think it was a third attempt we've seen in the last 10 seconds, and that was one to hit, so they were able to get the shot there. And like you said, I was going to comment on that as well. Mars still alive, so looking good. Definitely a good look for them, not to beat them up, of course, but just all in good fun. Mello and Frosty still alive, currently sitting at our second place position, so if they're able to get, top 5, top 3, they could really possibly steal the lead from BHEGS and Mars if they're able to. It looks like they're going to be in a rather beat-up vehicle here, trying to get just into the circle, and pretty lucky they have that vehicle, because I'm not mistaken, last time we saw them, they were a ways away, so now they're able to get into the circle. I think they think someone's in this structure, but we know that there's nobody in there. They may look to take it over, but it looks like they're going to move right past it instead.
I think the biggest thing right now is, like, they have heals, they have shields that they could be using, but they are both below 100, so that's actually really risky, especially if they get into a close-range gunfight with shotguns. They'll immediately get melted, and oh, look, there's someone right behind them right now. They have no idea that they're about to get run up on.
They are getting snuck up on here, and they're about to push into 2 duos that both have a high ground advantage over them, so they're really getting pincered in 3 directions here. Definitely something to keep an eye on. It looks like Micah, who is going to be taken out by Dr. Duke in that somewhere down to 25 teams, so I think Micah may have been on their lonesome there. 48 players left, 20 have been eliminated, as Catinator gets knocked by Arrow. That's going to be even worse, as if that elimination comes comes through, which it will by Derpy is fishing. That's going to be half a duo gone as well. And we're getting into that late game where respawning a teammate is pretty much out of the question.
Yeah, it isn't. Okay, so they are going to be able to heal up. I think they were just waiting to try to get into a more secure position. They do get it, but there's still a lot of duos around them, and there's specifically one right behind them, and we're going to see if I Woke Up Dead and Orange Boy can get some snipes of their own. I've never been a fan of the blue sniper personally because unless you nail heads, it usually isn't going to be a one-tap. And, you got, every time you take a shot, you reload. So the fire rate is really, really not great. But if you do nail those headshots, it's just amazing. But it is a projectile-based gun. It's not hit scan, so even if you nailed it right where they would be, it's about where they are going to be after you actually fire the bullet. So it's a lot of guesstimating where they'll end up. That's why I was so impressed by that shot earlier on from how far away it was. Didn't get the kill, only got 110 damage. Speaking of shots coming through, it looks like we've got some more.
Yeah, we're going to have a couple more snipes coming through. We're going to add them in that window, and that would have been crazy had it hit. I love the aggression coming out from Mello. And like you said, that sniper rifle, I think, has the slowest fire rate in the game of any game currently in Fortnite. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Is you pretty much get one of those, just that classic bolt action, and then you have to wait like 6 seconds to reload the weapon. So sometimes it's not really worth it. But Mello is going to have that slightly modified sniper rifle, not necessarily that classic bolt action. And they have it in that purple category as well, so it's going to be slightly better in terms of damage. We see Lovo able to find Sky, and Derpy is fishing, actually steals the elimination there. So going to be able to confirm that kill, which is funny because those two are not on a team. So somebody must have just gotten caught in some crazy crossfire there.
And I'm wondering how that goes for scoring. I mean, I guess if you get the knock, you don't get the actual elimination. You still get the point. So that is what we call in the business a big unlucky.
A big oof, that is, if you will.
I mean, I guess like you get a bit more like placement, you still get to increase, but like those 2 points. I mean, again, it's not the end all be all, but everything can help, especially when we know that top 3 has gotten a bit closer and closer as the game has gone on. Right now, we're going to see a bit more focus fire. They're looking one way, but Rilo right now taking a bit more damage from the right side.
Yeah, taking just a little bit of damage there, about 31 shield offline now, and that's not something you can heal with the mini shields because you can only do this up to 50. So now you're gonna have to commit that big shield for basically half of what it can offer. So I think maybe try to take a little bit more damage without dying before really committing that shield. You might want to have that later on if you take more damage. And holy cow, this mountain being turned into a monument here. I mean, just look at all this building coming out from these players. There's some great separation as well. You look more to the far left side of your screen, you'll be able to see a couple duos kind of scattered out. Maybe look at the front, just the center of attention here is all these duos just piled on top of each other. You can't even read some of these names because they're so close together, and it's all about that turtling, playing that slow, playing that patient, because if you poke your head out, you're going to get shot out by about 45 different people, or 25 different people. No, I was right, 45 people.
You know what I noticed? There are 2 things I noticed. I think that Big Riv right now is the one lone player, and the other thing I noticed is that Mars is all the way away from this. They are on the low ground right now. They are so far away from where everyone is building up, so that both of them are just so away from this fight, which is really interesting because they do have the full team. They've got both of them right now, but they are just avoiding this right now. I think they realize, we have this lead. Why even bother playing for kills if we can just keep getting top 3, top 5? Like, I mean, sure, the lead can get smaller and smaller if you place like lower and lower, but like 4th, 5th, 3rd, 2nd, all those things will just keep adding up to points. And I mean, it's a bigger race to be playing in the middle of this because even if you're a great player, even if you've got great gunplay, I mean, you just have the wrong build for just a second, you get crept up on by another team, and you immediately get eliminated. And it's, again, still 25 squads. So the points are not great right now. If you finish here, it's only going to be about, we're looking at it, 4 points for placement. So the equivalent of 2 kills.
Yeah, that's going to be not necessarily what you want, but it's crazy because you think, oh, the circle's so small, we've made it so far, and then it's like, actually, there's still 25 squads, still, or 25 duos still left alive.
There they are, B-Hags, yeah.
That is
bottom
crazy.
Right.
B-Hags and Mars going to be on the bottom right, Uzi and Epic. We saw this fight almost happen earlier between Epic and Uzi, and then they were going up against another duo, but they have been a rather passive team for the time being. They've had a couple of opportunities, and they've chosen not to take them. But B-Hags and Mars going to go for that strategy, just that bunker up. Rocky and Bonix, however, going to be pushing into B-Hags and Mars. I'm not sure if that's intentional for the kill or if that's rather just a choice that's made. I just heard the knock sound, but I didn't see anybody go down quite yet, so I'm sure somebody's down somewhere. Amazon Kid is down currently. I mean, that's going to be 25 health online, no shields, and Fear's still alive as well, so that duo is still standing for Akron. I'm not sure about our other Akron duo. I did not see them in that chaos there, but it's definitely difficult to read all these names. Arrow with a massive high ground advantage, but honestly, not a great kit.
No, it's not. I mean, when you're in this late of a game, you really want all blues and purples, except for like, heals and shields is really what you're going for. So having anything that's green, not great. Even like, I mean, blue's okay, but like realistically you want orange. And that's where you know, it goes into like maybe you do take those fights just to get loot, because I mean you're
Right.
still gonna get healed up if you actually get the elim, so it can be worth it.
You do get that heal if you get an elimination, which is something I feel a lot of people tend to forget, because I believe that only happens in the competitive setting. It's definitely going to be something to keep an eye out on as well. I mean, 24 squads, I feel like it's been a couple of minutes since somebody's really gone down here.
Yeah, and I think this is I don't want to say it's like the biggest amount of people we've seen at the end game like this, but
I believe it is.
it feels like it at least,
Yeah.
right? I think and they're much more spread out than
Ooh.
usual. I mean, obviously you can see from the minimap they're still playing on top of each other, but like there's a lot of levels right now to this this fortress is what I'm going to call it, this whatever it is. Everyone's been building on top of it, and you can see right now it looks like Derpy and Arrow CK are kind of at the pinnacle, but they're going to be run into, and they're going to be getting a lot of good shots in there.
Yeah, Derpy was really able to take advantage of that opportunity, kind of heard the bounce pad setup and just found the shotgun blast in air. I think that was 80 damage, if not more, coming out onto that player. So they haven't gone down yet, but that is, I mean, that's got to hurt your economy to say the very least. You're going to have to commit some kind of healing there. Your inventory is definitely going to pay the price. The circle going to start moving in about 3 seconds, and we've got 43 people who need to try and find their way into a very small circle. So this is where the blood is really going to start flowing.
Now.
Control is able to find Bonix. Yeah, so 42 people, excuse me. And that number about to plummet. We see this every time. Honestly, we're going to go from 24 squads to maybe 10. If we're lucky, it's going to be 10. It might be even less than that. Derpy is fishing, is going to have to get off the high ground. It's going to be destroyed. They're able to drop down, not take any damage for it. If you look toward the bottom of the center of your screen, all those players, Uzi, Rose, Epic, Dr. Duke, and Sweetle, they have to build up and over. They're currently stuck underneath a mountain, and they're not able to edit other people's builds, so they really may get caught out on the storm here. It looks like they're able to make it relatively quickly. And these players almost all playing like slightly passive because nobody wants to die, so they're all just rushing. We're seeing a lot of slow energy coming out here, and a lot of folks, like I said, I mean, one rocket launcher, if they were as common as they used to be, you could net like 8 kills with one lucky shot with how close these players are together. And now we hear that gunfire coming out once again, but nobody going to fall. I mean, this is incredible how many bullets we've heard, but how many kills we've seen is so few.
Epic and Uzi, they're gone. They both died in the storm. I think they were being fired upon as well. This is where Derpy and Arrow played so well in that game they won. They were on the high ground the entire time. They used it to all the advantage they could. Or going to be falling low 5 health. Doesn't have any way to heal it up. Only has shields. Just running for their life right now.
Yeah, wow, we have never seen this many players. 27 players in a rotating circle like this. MCore trying to get an exit frag, but I think died to fall damage. I'm not completely sure. That was either a bullet or fall damage, but either way, incredibly unlucky. Fear and Harsh are both going to be knocked, and Harsh actually, I believe, eliminated there. Fear is going to be taken out as well. M4 and Harsh finally coming through, so a lot of eliminations. There goes Control. They make it to top 12. I Woke Up Dead is still alive, but I'm not sure Orange Boy is. B-Hex right there with a rocket launcher, actually, so that could be huge. Beastly Chill Guy is going to die to the Storm. Detrana and I Woke Up Dead is going to be knocked by themselves, unfortunately. I think they died in the storm there. Demon Juice is going to be knocked down as well, and the eliminations coming through down to 7 squads. Dr. Duke and Sweetle off the clock here. It's going to come down. Mid Complex and Ideal still alive, and this is where they really started the frag last time. They have 5 eliminations already. That is a net 10 points, not including the points they get for coming in at least 6th place. Perksy is going to be knocked and eliminated by B-Hex. He is in here somewhere. Lovo taken out. TYQT, a name that we know is going to be taken out as well. There goes Kings for these eliminations coming through. All these, they're all knocks, actually. We haven't seen an elimination in quite a few. Down to these 6 final teams, 11 players online. Some very unlucky player is running through here by themselves, and for once, it's not B-Hex. Mars is still alive.
They are still alive. Now they're going to be kind of found out a little bit. Ideal and Nick Complex are right near them, but Mars takes out Nick's Complex, so this is looking really good for our front runners.
This is looking phenomenal. If they can get a first place finish, I mean, that is going to be nothing short of fantastic. Ideal going to be knocked as well, so Ideal and Nick Complex are off the board here. I believe that was a 5th, maybe 6th place finish, and B-Hex goes down. B-Hex is going to be taken out by Derpy is fishing, and that is gone, and it's going to be all up to Mars all over again. But Derpy is fishing is so unbelievably aggressive, constantly has that high ground advantage, much more of a builder than a fighter, but can absolutely fight when it comes down to it. Has no idea that Mars just dipped as soon as that got. Mars, that's a 2nd place finish. That's at least a 2nd place finish in Mars. Whether they win or lose this firefight, it does not matter, because that is going to secure this. I mean, that they just look better and better. But Arrow and Derpy, if they can secure a 2nd first place finish, that is going to be phenomenal for them. And Mars able to find the knock onto Arrow. Are they going to be able to do it? We see Derpy is fishing with the high ground advantage. You're going to have to get into the storm, and I think Mars may die to the storm. Down to 10 health, and there it is. The storm death does come through. Derpy is fishing an Arrow. They have 8 eliminations on top of finishing in first place once again. That is huge.
Yep, the only team to repeat a first place finish. That's going to be great for them. All those kills are going to be great for them. But again, I think the story here is Behegs and Mars they stay alive together. This is the first time that actually Behegs falls first. They make it all the way to the top 4 together. Then they ended up falling one by one, but still got a lot of kills on their map. Mars especially really stepped it up. So I think they finally said, hey, Behegs, you've been doing a great job, but it's my time to shine. So again, this lead, it's gonna get pretty close, I think, right now. I think those two teams will be the ones at the tippy top of our standings, but Hex and Mars are gonna be coming out on top of it once again. But time it is set. It's time for a break.
Yeah, it's going to be time for a break once again. And like you said, before we throw it to that quick break, I do want to acknowledge Akron in particular. They have been pretty consistent. They've yet to really top frag. And I'm not just saying this because I'm from Ohio. I do want to give them that moment of acknowledgement. They have really been kind of that underdog. I think they're consistently finishing top 10. And if they can get just one good game under their belt, maybe they're really able to turn things around. But as Jag said, we're only going to be able to find out after this quick break. And we should have updated standings for you guys when we get back. So don't go far. We'll see you in just a bit. Welcome back, everybody. We are going to be jumping right into our next game, but first we want to give you guys a good look at that updated leaderboard, so we're going to be throwing it right over there. We've got a couple of teams in particular to talk about coming out of this, and so far, I mean, it has been all about BHEGs and Mars. They've done a phenomenal job. Looks like we're going to be seeing it, of course, University of Maryland going to be at the top of things here, which is that team we know and love. It's going to be BHEGs and Mars at the very top. Second place is still going to be Derpy is Fishing and Arrow, so that's interesting to see that they only have bumped their way up to second here.
Yeah, and I mean, it's 3 second place finishes versus 2 first place finishes, right?
Right.
So what's better? I think we have our answer for the time being. We don't have exact numbers here, so hopefully we'll bring those to you at some point to see exactly where the lead is. But Loyola is still at the top. Mello and Frosty, they have 1 game under their belt as well. And then we go down the list, and there's some new schools that are kind of rising to the top. University of Wisconsin, that's Stemps and McCord. They were a little bit lower earlier on. They were at around 8th. So there's a little bit of back and forth here in the middle of the pack. Because remember, there is a first place prize that is the best prize, $1,000, but you're really fighting for top 8 right now because all of the teams that finish within that will get a good amount of money. So right now, the other squad from Maryland and Ashland University, they are the ones who are looking on outside looking in, so we'll see if they can get up there. But like you said, Akron, I mean, they're number 6 right now, so like you said, they are actually doing pretty well.
Yeah, they're actually, both teams from Akron were on that top 10 very early on, and now it looks like it's just going to be one of them, which I'm not sure which, but I'm going to assume it's going to be both Fear and Amazon Kid. We've seen them a lot. They've really been netting themselves a lot of kills as well, so I'm going to make the assumption there that it's them. We're going to be jumping right into game. However, people have hit the ground and Empty already with an elimination online, took somebody out of the fight. I'm not quite sure who, and Sebi looks like they may have taken bit of damage themselves, but they're able to win that fight. Kawaii Stitch and Xbox Assassin are already going to be gone as well. Catinator and MBUAG going to be netting themselves some kills. That's already a duo and a half offline here.
Yep, already pretty quick start to this. It's not going to end yet. Empty is still trying to find some shots. Waiting for close range. Instead, they're going to give their partner some stuff to work with. So it looks like Sebi's going to have 3 SMGs and a shotgun. So, I mean, we talk about this, though. You sometimes do stack same weapons, just so you can easily kind of transfer to the next one. And that's not where you want to drop if you're Nando. Just ran right into the spray.
Oh, yeah, poor Nando. It looks like their partner was already taken out as well, and that is a bit of a disaster for them. We see a bit of an emote coming out from Empty there, putting on a show. And
both of them.
Sebi's got... Yeah, I was going to say, Sebi's got plenty of time to heal up, but if you look onto the mini-map, I think someone else is there, perhaps? Yeah, there is somebody there.
Just, I think it's just a
NPC. It's just the AI, okay.
Yeah,
that's
so
perfect.
You can still take a lot of damage, though. I mean, look at that. I mean, they get really good guns for their troubles. They get an RPG, but, I mean, they only had 1 medkit, I believe, and now Sebi's using it, so Empty's going to have to try to find something. So we talked about this last game. We haven't really talked about it at all besides that, but it was like, do you go for these NPC objectives? Do you try to chase these enemies that don't actually really add up too much? Do you try to get better weapons there? I mean, you're trading health for better guns, so we'll see how that works in the long term, but in the short term, Rocky might be engaging in a fight with their partner Bonix any moment.
Yeah, Rocky and Bonix going up against that other University of Akron team. I believe it's Cut, and I can't think of the other person's name off the top of my head. Sergeant Sash, so now it's going to be great.
Yeah, if they're going to dropping in possibly any moment. We're actually going to be moving over somewhere else in the map. Is Ready Pwn right now is just kind of chilling.
He's just doing his best. It looks like he is hid. Oh, he is kind of known for hiding here. We saw him last week hide in a bush, and I think he made it pretty high up in placements in that round specifically. Looks like his partner is still online, which is the weird thing for me, because clearly he's the only one over here. So maybe he ran to the bathroom and then didn't make it back in time, but he's definitely going to be hiding just a little bit. Fear and Amazon Kid able to find a duo super early on, and that's going to net them some good materials here as well.
Yeah, there goes Flapjack, because that's a name that we know. They're going to be down early. They do have enough heals to stay alive. There's going to be the kit. They have a lot of minis. They're going to use some utility here if it's a good fight to win. They also have the chug splashes, so I think they should get pretty close to full health, maybe like 10 less than you'd want. Other than that, looking pretty good. But Rocky, again, we talked about this, how they engaged in the fight, and it's not working out for them.
Yeah, they play it slow, they play it patient, and Rocky and Bonix, I mean, we see Rocky almost taken off his feet, down to 37 health, gonna get chug splashed up just a little bit, still no shields online, gonna commit the only mini they have, just barely gonna be able to top 100, sitting at 102 health. Sergeant, Sash, and Cut, it looks like they may get pincered here. Rocky and Bonix maybe going for a little bit of a flank strategy here. It looks like Cut's going to be pushing in hyper-aggressive, trying to get the build possession, isn't going to be able to find it yet, and they don't have a lot of ammo to win this, so Bonix and Rocky, they this fight's lasting maybe a little bit longer than they wanted it to.
Rocky gonna fall solo again. Bonix does have 2 minis, but do they even have the time to use them? It looks like they're just gonna try to break their way out of this. They're gonna try to break the walls down. This Jericho reference, but it's not gonna be enough. Both of them are gonna fall.
Rocky and Bonix, they are eliminated. Sergeant Sash with the very mild emote coming from the two of them. Sergeant Sash and Cut are going to be able to bring the damage super early on, and they get 2 kills as well. University of Akron, both of these duos have already gotten at least 1 duo offline.
And if somehow they had won that, there would have been a reboot right there. So even if you lose one along the way, they would have immediately been able to get the resurrection. There's no one else in sight, so that could have been best case scenario, but they didn't. I think the plan to run was a smart one. They just didn't do it quick enough.
Yeah.
By the time they broke the wall down, the staircase they had built was also gone, so there was nothing to protect them. And 29 duos still left when all is said and done. 9 eliminations so far. And we haven't even had really a chance to look at where this circle is going. It looks like it is going at least to the east. I think maybe more to the top. Looking at the mini-map what we have right now. But usually, you know, it's just been so much non-stop action back-to-back. We haven't really had a chance to be looking at that overall map, and there's going to be Beastly Chill Guy falling somewhere else.
Yeah, Beastly Chill Guy is going to fall there, but these are 2 bloodthirsty teams that we're seeing right now. It's going to be Derpy is Fishing and Arrow up against Mick Complex and Ideal, so that's definitely something to keep an eye out for because both these teams have made it pretty far. We've seen Derpy is Fishing obviously win 2 rounds already, but Mick Complex and Ideal, they haven't won anything yet, but they have gotten quite a few kills seemingly every round, so gonna look to rack those points up early. I Woke Up Dead gets hyper aggressive, goes for a kill early on, and is able to find it. I believe that was Tony taken out there, if I'm not mistaken, so that may have been the 3rd time that Beastly Chill Guy and Tony lost to I Woke Up Dead and Orange Boy.
That's unlucky. 3rd time is not the charm in that case, if true. But thus is the circle of life now, isn't it? Septulins, they're going to be able to get a lot from it too, and they drop down to find it. So here's the question. I mean, do you go for the Chug Splash or do you go for the Medkit? And there are, you know, pluses and negatives to each of these ideas. I mean, Medkit gives you full health, but takes 10 seconds. Chug Splash is AoE, and it's instantaneous. So they are going to choose the Chug Splash overall, and I think if they are able to get a stack, that'll be helpful. Thank you. Now we're able to see that map for just a second. It is going to be more mid than I expected. It's more like middle towards the east side, but I think that, again, gives teams a much better advantage than it going like really south or really north to be able to get to the middle eventually. But Control and Harsh, but look at how many people are around them right now.
Yeah, Control and Harsh, they're stuck on kind of a low ground here. It looks like they're getting collapsed in a little bit by Sweetle and Dr. Duke, trying to find any value here. Looks like they might be able to push in just a bit, but nobody's really got a spectacular kit in this fight, so it's really going to be who's able to hit their shots. And speaking of hitting shots, 49 damage already onto one of those players stuck inside, 33 more, so Control and Harsh suddenly just at such a deficit in the health pool.
Now Dr. Duke's trying to run in. They have the shotgun. It looks like they're trying to find some more damage on the side. They know exactly where they are. They break the wall, and they're not looking in that direction.
Oh! Good knock onto Harsh. That's a disaster for Control. It has to be a 1v2, and he's going to be able to find a little bit of damage there, but no, Harsh is going to be fully eliminated, and Control not far behind. That, my friends, is unfortunate for that duo.
And that's going to be the end of their run, and look at this. Hagborn and Fancy, they're just kind of chilling. They have not moved at all during the entirety of that fight. I feel like they might have missed out on a potential opportunity where they really could have just run in, try to get the 3rd party, but instead they've just been kind of sitting there. And Sweetle now is able to get more shields, so that's something to look out for. I think one thing is maybe they just realize they don't have a good enough kits. They don't want to take this on fully, but now there's going to be another duo arriving to the party momentarily, so it might be their time to shine later on.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, maybe this team, maybe Fancy and a Hackborn just couldn't hear the firefight that was happening. And honestly, if you guys want to worry about never or always hearing your opponents from here on out, definitely join our giveaway where we are giving away 4 RIG headsets throughout the stream. So definitely keep an eye on it. The code word is going to be Esport. Certified, only one esport, not several. Go ahead and drop that in chat to be entered, and we will handle it from there. But now we see Dr. Duke and Sweetle using those small crystals to teleport a little bit faster across this oasis, kind of this desert. And it looks like they're heading right toward a duo in a vehicle. I'm not quite sure who it is, but it's definitely going to be a close matchup. And wow, here comes that circle going to be putting itself right down toward the bottom of the map.
Dr. Duke's going to be able to just speed through this. They're going to shoot at the car, but they're not going to be able to find any shots to go into. That car is, you know, it doesn't look like a nice car, and it's not going to have as much health as some of the other ones in the game. They're just going to try to build walls, and then it's going to go. It's going to explode, but I believe they were able to get out before that happened.
Yeah, I think they got out just in time in the nick of time there, and it looks like Mandinka and Archer are going to be putting the pressure onto Levo and Perksy again, who have not had a great run quite like they did in that last week of that last matchup that we saw them in. Now it's going to be that 2v2, all players still alive, and Perksy taking quite a bit of damage here. Mandinka still sitting at full as well.
Yeah, they're just trying to reload right now. Perksy is going to be running around, going to be walking right into a shotgun, but Mandinka might actually be finding the worst end of that trade, and they do.
Yeah, and Archer trying to take out Lovo, but falling to 45 health, and it looks like Lovo is going to be taken out, so it's going to be an eye for an eye and a kill for a kill. Lovo is gone, Mandinka as well. It's going to be a 1v1, especially if they want to try and get their teammates' card.
I think Perksy might have the resources to heal, but I know that Archer does. We just saw their inventory. We'll see what Perksy does. It looks like they do have a full shield, so we'll see how that 1v1 ends up. But later on, it's Arrow CK right now. Derpy is fishing is gone. They are off the board right now, so this is a 1v1, and Arrow CK is going to be taken out as well, and that's great for everyone else who's in that top 8 seeding right now, especially those at the top of the board, the Hegs and Mars, who are still around, so that's huge for Sweetle and Dr. Duke to be able to take off a team that's been doing so well so soon. I mean, it's not even below 20, it's 25 right now, so that's only going to be, check it really quickly, it's only going to be 4 points for this game after getting first twice.
That's kind of a disaster for them. That's probably going to knock them out of that second place position, depending on who does well here. That's definitely not going to be a good look for them, and they've got to be wild upset about that. But I mean, a great kill for Dr. Duke and Sweetle, right? You get that team offline. Now, you know, there's a big name taken out. Like you said, B-Hegs and Mars, they've got to be stoked. That's fantastic for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have not heard much from them, but Archer's going to take out Perksy, so Lovo might be in some trouble elsewhere. We'll see what happens. Now we're back on Archer's
Lovo's gone.
POV. Actually, are they?
Lovo was taken out by Mandinka.
So that should be the end. I saw only a knock, but it might have been a kill instead, so that is going to be the end of that. I think that's the one we want. Yeah, you're right. That's the 1v1 we were thinking about earlier on. Did they get the card? That's the biggest question. Can they get the reboot? And even if they can get the reboot card, is there a van nearby that can help them get that? It looks like they may be trying to find that card right now, but we haven't talked about this a lot today, but I mean, you can't edit your own builds, and you see there's going to be a red outline if it's not yours, and right now they're trying to just kind of work around this building, it seems, but a lot of the building is not their own.
I'd say about half. I mean, that's definitely a difficult thing when you're trying to get through a build like that, especially in those final circles when you're trying to sprint from the storm and you can't edit things, so you've got to mine or shoot through them. It looks like we're going to be seeing Orange Boy and I Woke Up Dead. They've only got 2 kills from them, probably just trying to break that top 20 lineup as they want to make sure they get some points on board here. Some great weaponry here. They've got that purple AR with plenty of butter. They both have a purple AR, excuse me. So that's going to be a great matchup for them. They trade out that sniper rifle for that instant healing coming from the fish. And as we get a better look at this circle, a good chunk of it's currently in some water here.
Yeah, it is. The southern side is a lot of water, so we'll see where the circle ends up. Lazy Lakes and Hunter's Haven are still in play. Those are the biggest areas still currently in the circle. As you see, there are some teams that are going to have to run in right now. I see some teams on the left, some teams on the right. There's a team that just got in to the bottom. So it's a bit more spread out, I think, than we're used to at this point. I feel like a lot of the time we're going to see it be a bit more centralized, but so far there are still teams kind of on the edge. There is going to be possibly a bit of an engage in the top right. I'm looking at the team that's coming in. There's another team that's kind of waiting right on the border, and this is a play that I used to make myself as a player. I would wait on the edge of the circle and see if people would just run into me if they weren't expecting it.
Yeah, see, we definitely would have gotten into fights there because I'm the guy that's always running in the storm, just desperately trying to get back into the fight. But I usually like to play that hide strategy, very similar to B-Hegs and Mars, and that may be why I'm so excited to see them perform so well, because you don't see it work often, at least not when you're me. And Sebi here just having a bit of a dance party. Sebi and Empty having a good time. They know they've got a high ground advantage, and I don't think they expect anybody to be pushing in anytime soon. 44 players left online, 23 duos, and it's really good. Like what I keep saying, seemingly every round, in the blink of an eye, we could go from 23 to 10, if not less duos. So it really could just happen instantaneously.
And this is what we expected now. Now that the next circle has been kind of identified, you see every team start to try to make their way towards the middle. Hunter's Haven, kind of where it's going to be. So we might see teams decide to actually run all the way in and try to just build off those structures that are already there. They might try to build up their own a little bit farther in the distance as Sebi takes a shot and doesn't find anything. I mean, there's a lot of teams around them, but again, high ground is always kind of where you want to be. So it's surprising that so many of the teams have very low structures that don't have a lot of builds. Like they're not only low to the ground, they're also not long. They're very short. There's only it's just like one by one. You know, they're not building out at all, so they're not going to create any space for themselves if they do get run up on.
Yeah, we've definitely seen a surprising amount of horizontal combat in terms of just going to the left or right rather than building up. Usually when it gets to the final fight or the final 5 teams, we see a lot of building up. But recently, like you said, it's really been a lot of horizontal fighting, which is not something you expect to see very often. And Sebi maybe getting a little bit too overconfident because it might just be the angle we're at, but whoever is on that hill kind of up to their right, I think has a very small height advantage and might be able to get a sniper shot onto Sebi if they have a sniper rifle. But now he's going to be moving down, trying to keep himself in. Oh, they sync it up! They get the emote sunk up there. They're going to be dancing for us as we wait for any kind of action to start up again. But again, we are kind of in that lull of the circle closing in. And hey, at least we get a little dance show here, right? A little dance party.
Yeah, I mean, that's the synergy we need, right? Not only the same skin, but the same emote synced up at the exact same time. That's what we're looking for. Thank you, Epic.
That's dedication.
Very cool. And yeah, as you said, it's a bit of a lull because really there is absolutely nothing going on. The circle's still wide enough, and it's very open space too. I mean, Hunter Steven is right there, but already this is a very open location, and that snipe's gonna be almost connecting. The wall built just in time. But there is just, it's just poke damage, right? We talk about that in some other games. It's just poking. You're not actually looking for kills. You're not actually looking to take a fight. You're just looking to maybe find 1 or 2 insta kills, maybe 1 or 2 downs, and force teams to use, resources, put themselves in a comfortable position while the other team feels uncomfortable because they might have to go for a res.
Yeah, and yeah, if you can catch somebody going out for a res and you know they're going for it, you usually push in on that, right? You usually push in to that 2v1 and you try to get that kill and net those points for yourself. But sometimes people aren't as confident to make those choices, and it looks like we're just going to see a lot of material farming. And people usually don't go for firefights right now because, first of all, oh my god, they're still going. They're still going. We just jumped back and they have literally not done a thing. They have not even stopped emoting while we've been gone. But I'm glad. I love it. And they stop at the same time. I love it. I love it so much. But now we see Akron. They're still alive as well, and a lot of these folks aren't going to be going for firefights because it's going to give away their location. So even if they win or lose that fight, that puts a huge target on their back of, okay, we know a team is over here, we know they're probably pretty low because they probably take some damage in that firefight. A lot of slow rotations, and you mentioned this already, but this is probably the most open that we've seen a circle. There's a couple of buildings in the middle, but a lot of this is down like in the middle. We're almost fighting in a valley. So whoever chooses to take those initiations in the bottom, they're going to get caught out by 7 or 8 other teams on the high.
And no one's really taking advantage of the fact that there are buildings already. They could build up and build a structure on top of them. I mean, you see one right here with Frosty and Mellow, but beyond that, I really don't see much of that happening anywhere else. The thing to notice is that there is a crate in the middle of it, and I don't think anyone would, for their life, go for it right now, but that could be a very interesting play if someone just tries to increase their loot, because as you see, a lot of purples, a lot of oranges, and a lot of blues, and I'm sure there's some teams that are coming out of the circle not really running into anyone that are just going to have green weapons, and you're just almost always going to lose. If it's a green AR versus the orange Scar, you're almost always going to lose that fight.
Right. And you talked about this already, that supply drop sitting in the middle of that valley. And like you said, nobody in their right mind is going for that thing. You have to calculate the risk versus the reward. Best case scenario, you get a rocket launcher. Worst case scenario, you lose a bunch of money because you went for a supply drop that you didn't need. So I doubt we're going to be seeing any of the teams go for that. But maybe somebody tries to grab it as the circle rotates, or maybe we just don't see anyone go for it at all. Especially right now, I can't stress this enough. None of these teams are going to be taking chances they can't afford to take. We're going to be seeing a lot of gunfire onto Salfris and Zigzag Zo, who, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time in a while they've lived this late into the game.
Yeah, I remember the first game they did pretty well, but then I think from them I haven't really heard much. But Orange might actually be taking a lot of fire right now from this pistol. The Orange pistol, it can still do work at range. Or just trying to find a snipe, gonna be barely missing it. Just fires a little bit too far into the future, and again, more shots coming their way. So now every team is kind of collapsing, but it's mostly on the outside. It's not really, usually like teams want to go for the middle because that's gonna give you the best position to move into the next circle. If you're kind of on an equal footing, it's not like too far to the left, not too far to the right, but everyone really is playing the outside of it. I think that's because of the high ground, kind of how the terrain is for where we are right now. It's all kind of just on the outskirts, that no one wants to move too far in.
Right, that valley in the middle is seemingly a death sentence, because if you move into the center of things, then immediately you get just cornered by 100 different teams. So you definitely don't want to be taking any kind of high-quality risk like that.
Yeah, and I think we've made it a very apparent point is that we don't expect these teams to be going for things they don't need to. We don't expect them to be really going for these wild, wacky plays, because they don't need to. And at this point, like, as we get, this is the 5th matchup. There's only one more left after this. So for a long time, we're like, oh, there's plenty more to go. There's plenty of time to catch up.
Now
there's very little time to catch up at this rate.
Yeah, and Zigzag Zo going to be caught out here. It looks like Salphorus is already very low as well. They've got some mini shields, and honestly, I'm curious what Salphorus may have to keep them alive, because that's something that really could make or break. They're going to commit 2 of the mini shields very early on. Zigzag Zo going to get themselves up as high as they can. I Woke Up Dead and Orange Boy doing exactly what they love to do, just moving in and getting hyper aggressive, putting themselves smack in the middle of things, and it's worked out for them pretty well. But they don't have any wins under their belts quite yet, so it's not working out maybe as well as they wanted to.
And they were being taken down elsewhere, so Sebi's still being able to find a few kills here and there. It's just now things I think are starting to break down as people are starting to move into what is potentially the final circle. As it keeps moving and moving, you see that everyone's just kind of glomped up. I mean, look at this. There's still a few people on the outskirts, but for the most part, everyone is just in this singular area. And right now, Sky is not having a fun time. That's their entire shield that got melted.
Yeah, I think there's like 6 people shooting at Sky right now. I do not think it is like one duo. I think there is at least 2 duos just emptying their clips into Sky. They are all looking for this elimination. I want to point out Salphorus gone offline. It looks like Zigzag Zo not too far behind. So that team taken out. That is putting us in our final 20 duos, and Sky finally gets eliminated by Mars. So that's going to be more points online. Both Mars and BHEG still alive. And yep, there goes Detrata as well. Shafi able to pick up that kill. 19 duos left online.
Yeah, so now we're in the top 20, and now things are, it's still 16th through 20th, 7 points, 11th through 15th, 10 points, and then we get into kind of where the every rank is a bit different. Fancy is down, and now a Hackborn is also down, and
Mars!
The numbers are starting to drop very quickly.
Yeah, Mars and BHEG's just got 2 more kills. They're getting a bunch of points online right now. That is huge for them. 18 duos, and we say it every time. The number is about to plummet. Like, blink, and this could be half of what it is right now. The firefight's coming out, the storm rotating, and a lot of people with nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. A lot of builds are probably going to come out, and the more builds that come out, the harder it is for everybody else to move around. We see the team from Akron still alive. I Woke Up Dead and Orange Boy. They're still in the mix-up here. I believe the other Akron team is still alive. Mars and BHEG's, 3 eliminations between the 2 of them. Both of them max health. They've got some pretty decent kits online right now. They're going to go for that survival strat that they always do. Actually, they're going to throw themselves right into the middle of combat, Sometimes we're just wrong. It looks like they're going to be moving in toward that new circle, but they're going to be absorbing a lot of gunfire to do it.
Yeah, I think they're trying to play the high ground. I think they're trying to avoid any immediate fights as they continue to be using... yeah, that's not where you want to end up, but it looks like they're going to be okay for the time being. They completely dropped off the high ground. They're going to be running into Big Riv.
Big Riv caught on their lonesome, going to be knocked here. Mars able to find that knock, and as long as Big Riv, even if they just slowly but surely lose their health, that still counts as a kill, because Mars was the one who found the knock, and the points go to the one, I believe, who finds the knock, not the elimination. So that's definitely something to consider as well. Empty is able to technically get a kill onto Mitt there, but Mitt did die to the storm, so I believe that kill still goes to Empty, because they were the last person to do damage to them. So now Demon, okay, we see Juice and Bacon with a serious high ground advantage, but as I say it, Bacon gonna give it up, so a little bit weird there. They may be running out of materials, might have to drop just a little bit lower, and it's kind of a stairway to heaven strat. They make sure they're above everybody else, but they're not going all the way to the skybox or anything crazy like that. Actually going to drop to the low ground. Orange Boy is going to be eliminated, and Micah Who not far behind. Shafi now gone due to Sebi, so Sebi definitely making a name for themselves in this round in particular. I Woke Up Dead will die to the storm. Unfortunately, Meepy will get the credit for that. TYQT going to be taken out by Kinster, and folks, the kills will not stop from here on out.
Yeah, it's just getting very, very wild, and I think we've noticed that some teams, they're just giving up the high ground. They're just trying to get somewhere away from the storm, but you're going to be jumping right into someone, and Juice going to be taking down. The Juice is not going to be able to... actually, they'll get rezzed up because Bacon is able to save them.
Yeah, the Juice was loose for just a moment, but they were taken out, and now Ideal is going to find Big Rev as well. Ult for coaching taken out by Sergeant Sash.
It's a run.
Cut going to fall. No, wait, the rest doesn't come through. He's just abandoning Juice. That is so unfortunate. Cut is taken out. Sergeant Sash gone as well. Juice dies to the storm there, and Sweetle taken out by BFB. Dr. Duke falls to Kinster, and now it is just, the overshot. That's going to be a free 30 damage from the storm. Super unfortunate. That is an entire bullet. That could be a make or break in a later fight. Fear has the high ground. Amazon Kid stuck in the storm. I don't think they're getting out anytime soon. Going for the heal strap, but they just cannot get out in time. No, it looks like they are going to be able to make it. BHEGs and Mars, they are still alive. Mid Complex and Ideal as well. And Jokula and Bokami are going to be ripped to shreds here by Mars. They are racking up the kills like crazy. That is 4 online. Mid Complex is gone. Ideal on their loan. So Amazon Kid still stuck in the storm, and Fear trying to find any kind of elimination, just holding on to that high ground. BHEGs and Mars being chased out by Ideal, but a great rocket comes through, and there goes Ideal, taken offline by Amazon Kid. Getting another kill online. That is 6 for Akron, but it looks like they're going to be taken out by Mars as well, who's stuck in the storm, and now that is Fear on their lonesome as BHEGs and Mars pick up yet another elimination. Akron currently sitting at 6 kills themselves, but Fear going to have to do seemingly the impossible.
In Mars and VHEGs, this is the works they finished in 4th. They have never finished outside the top 5, so already this is putting themselves in a great position to just run away with this championship. I mean, there's still one more game after this, but things are looking incredible for them, especially because we know that the team that's currently in second place, they died a very long time ago.
Oh, with a 124 from Stems could be huge here. That's going to do a lot of damage. And like you said, that second place team, that current standing team, they had died, I mean, top 25. They've been gone for a long time. MCore is going to be able to find a shot onto Bacon, but it looks like no, B-Hegs is going to steal the kill. So whether B-Hegs dies or not, that is another 2 guaranteed points, including a top 3 placement, no matter how the rest of this goes. B-Hegs healed back up, as is Mars, and they're going to be flanking in just a little bit. Mars just with a rocket launcher waiting for someone to test them. We've got 2 full duos and a lonesome player that I think is still from Akron. I believe it's going to be that Akron player up on the high ground. Fear just hiding, letting these duos rip each other to shreds.
Yep, Stems and McCord, they're chasing while Fear is just on the high ground, as you said, just following the circles. It gets smaller and smaller.
Super smart.
This might be our first heal off right now. Everyone's at pretty good health, but I think it's going to come down to maybe who's able to use a chug splash or one of those fish earlier than later, as now you're going to see it is going to be the circle completely closing.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a heal off, and I'm not sure Stems has what it takes. The 3 chugs offline in terms of healing. There goes Mars. There goes Fear, who's eliminated, comes in 3rd place guarantee. B-Hegs is alive, and no way they do it. That has to be the nail in the coffin here. That is a 1st place finish for B-Hegs and Mars, who were already in 1st place on standings. Not only do they have 8 eliminations on board, but that is, 49 more points for them? That is absolutely insane. B-Hegs and Mars have shown up beyond belief here tonight.
41 points. I'm trying to do the math. 41 plus, what was it, 18 is what we said? No, 16 would be, let's see, 57? 57, something like that. So, and they're already in 1st place. So that's gonna be their best finishing today. I mean, that's the best you can get in any game. 1st place is usually
phenomenal.
Also a lot of great kills at the end. So I think that this might be a gap that's too big for any team to overcome, unless somehow, some way, Mars and B-Hegs are taken out early on in our game 6. Then maybe, just maybe, there will be an opening for another team to swoop in and take that 1st place finish. But it seems like for the time being, most people will be fighting for 2nd instead.
Absolutely. This has been, I mean, B-Hegs and Mars have done seemingly the impossible. They have just brought the heat so many times, so many games in a row. I don't think anybody else has a record like worst place finish in 5 games as 4th place. Like, that is phenomenal to consider. They really have done an incredible job, and we'll have to see how good of a job they can do in that final game in just a bit. We're going to throw it to one more break, and we'll see you guys in just a couple of minutes.
In 2020, we interrupted your regularly scheduled programming to bring you $250,000 worth of scholarships through Intel Inspires. Now, in 2021, we are the regularly scheduled programming. We are proud to announce the new AVGL high school program, backed by a myriad of colleges, influencers, and esports professionals. Up to $400,000 worth of scholarships, paid esports internships, content creator camps, and 50+ exclusive tournaments and events. We know the ropes, and after the experience granted to us through Intel Inspires, we're no longer tying knots, we're tying bows. Because esports isn't about skill, it's not about age, it's not even about experience, it's about attitude. And we at the AVGL are dedicated to bringing that attitude from the vault of the esports corporations and into your classroom. If there's one thing we've learned from a year at the forefront of collegiate esports, it's that professional gaming doesn't start with us. It starts with you.
Welcome back, everybody, to what is going to be our sixth and final game here of the AVGL Collegiate Champions League. I am still Septilin, still joined by the wonderful Jag, and we have seen a crazy night, to say the very least.
Wonderful only. I think phenomenal is the better word. No, I'm kidding.
Absolutely.
It's been a phenomenal night of action, if anything. I mean, we've had some very, very close games as we go into what will be our final bout of the night. Talked about this a bit before the break, and it seems like first place, for the most part, is all wrapped up and done with unless some crazy things happen in this last game. But second place is still on the line. It's $800 for second place, so only $100 less per a player. So there's still a lot to be played for. And still, I mean, everyone in the top 8 is going to be walking away with some great money. So, I mean, everyone's going to be trying to play their hearts out here, because if you get first here somehow and you've been like maybe finishing more in top 20 most of the times, who knows, that could propel you all the way to that top 8 spot.
Absolutely. And like you said, we've just seen some phenomenal plays, some crazy plays, and we're already seeing a gunfight. Ideal just healed up and then immediately took more damage, so something must be happening over there. Sweedle and Dr. Duke is already down, actually, so a gunfight. I mean, blink and you miss it. Some folks are already going down. Nobody has died quite yet, but Empty is bloodthirsty as always, might be able to find Sweedle here. Just one more bullet's going to be able to do it, and there it is. Able to secure one elimination already, an entire duo for Empty and Sebi, who finished quite well last time.
Now, Sebi, it looks like as Empty's partner from what I'm seeing here, they're going to be going for the res, so it looks like they knocked out whoever they were facing, but yeah, they are going to be rezzed up, so that is going to be one duo off the books already. 2 players gone. That's the first and only fight we've seen thus far, and now they're going to have heavy ARs in the blue and green variety, so I'm sure they're about to give one up. We're going to be looking at a little bit farther away. It looks like we're going to be seeing Y and maybe Assassin try to go for a fight. There are, I believe, yeah, there's another duo at Dirty Docks, but we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, I'm glad to see that everybody's favorite dancing cat duo isn't taken offline quite yet. I'm sure they've got a couple more moves waiting to show us later on in game. But Xbox and Assassin and Kawaii Stitch haven't had the best run here tonight, unfortunately. They've been able to get a couple of kills here and there, but we often don't see them left in those top 10 squads. Maybe they're duos, rather. Maybe now they're going to be able to turn things around. Like you said, somebody else at Dirty Docks. It's TYQT and the BFB, so we know that is those names very well as Mandinka and Archer. Looks like they're going up against Harsh and Control very early on. I'm pretty sure we saw this firefight in the last game. Mandinka and Archer were the ones that came out on top of it. We're going to have to see if the script flips just a little bit here.
Yeah, I'm sure they're thinking second time is the charm. We can win this once again, even if they don't actually know who they're up against right now. That's a dink to the dome. 33 for that headshot. Control. It's falling so low right now, but Harsh, it looks like
Archer,
for the time being.
Archer is going to fall super low as well. I think we're going to see that one-to-one trade again. It looks like Control already offline. Xbox Assassin gone, and there is Harsh. Talk about bad luck for this team. Harsh and Control are already going to be out of this final game.
That's an OG emote. I haven't seen that one in a while. Not this one, not the micro one before. The one before, I mean, that's...
Take the L.
Yeah, take the L. The L has been taken, and unfortunately, Control and Harsh, they have no more chances in this series. In these games, they are done for good now, is right now. Sky trying to make sure they're not done, because this is everyone's last chance to try to get some sweet points.
I think this may be the slowest game that we see in terms of eliminations. We've seen a couple come out pretty early on from these teams, but this is the final hour for a lot of these teams, and there are teams where realistically winning this, placing top 3, like you said, could boost them into that top 8 area. So I really don't think we're going to see a lot of people taking risks, and as I say it, Stems and MCore, they're going to be taking some risks. They're going to be pushing right into this 2v2 onto Sky and Detrata there. It looks like currently a 2v1 is Detrata is over at the clock tower and Sky is currently in the building. Going to try to find even one elimination here, and that could guarantee the second kill for them as well.
I feel like Stems and McCore has been a team that's kind of flown under the radar. They started to do much better the longer this has gone on, so I feel like they realize, like, they're in a position where it's like, maybe we get a few kills here and there, we're able to get top 10. I'm not sure exactly where they are right now, but that could be like great for them. I mean, I feel like anyone who's kind of like in the top 12, maybe even like more top 14 in overall standings throughout all 5 games so far could actually, be able to move up depending on how things go. So there's kind of, 2 different stories here. Like, do you try to play aggressive and try to take people out to make sure they don't get farther ahead of you? Or do you play it safe and just play for placement points instead? And it looks like Stems, I mean, in the core after how they did last round, they should feel pretty confident. They were able to hit a lot of their shots.
Absolutely. They have hit quite a few of their shots. Like you said, we saw some great value coming out from them, and they've gotten quite a few kills. Their placements haven't been spectacular overall, but they've really had a pretty solid run here, especially in terms of eliminations. It looks like they're going to give up on that 2v2 for just a moment. And, you've got to wonder, we already kind of agreed on that. Their eliminations have really been where they started to shine. You've got to wonder why they aren't going to just push in super aggressive here.
Am I just waiting for the moment? Because you know where they are, you know exactly where
Right,
they'll be.
right.
So instead of just running in blindly and like running into a trap, maybe you just try to wait for them to leave, wait for them to be out in the open. Because both of you guys, or both duos, are right now outside of the circle, just barely. And actually, right now you don't really have the advantages. You're farther away, but could wait.
Oh no!
That circle move in, but Beastly Chill Guy. Oh no, this is. Oh no, indeed.
And you've got to look at who it is. I think this is going to be the 4th time that they lose that fight to I Woke Up Dead and Orange Boy. That I feel so bad for Beastly Chill Guy. That's a fight that they've been a part of so many times, and I unfortunately don't think they won it even a single time.
Yeah, and that's going to be 2 kills, 1 to either of those players. That's going to be at least 4 points guaranteed to them. We'll see where they end up placing later on. Bonix right now, just Bonix and Rocky both very healthy, both have a good amount of shields.
Their favorite strat is to just play off the side of the map like this until late game.
I don't blame them. I mean, it's kind of worked out for them so far, right? I feel like usually that's the name we're saying near the end. They're able to get some great utility, but they are being shot at actually from a bit of a ways away. They're getting shot at from very far away. We're seeing exactly where they are. I mean, that's like
that's a distance.
That is a distance.
Yeah, that is quite far to really go in for that engagement early on, but it looks like we're going to be jumping back into the Colossal Coliseum, and as I say it, we're jumping right back. It's going to be Orange Boy and I Woke Up Dead that are looking to get that aggressive. They've both got an elimination on board. They're moving in, but Rocky and Bonix, we've seen this fight, and last time we did, I'm pretty sure Rocky and Bonix won it. So I Woke Up Dead and Orange Boy, not that they know who they're pushing into, but we do. And now, they're trying to get more aggressive. They're trying to find their shots, and you can only imagine how different this fight would have gone if they were able to hit these sniper shots. They could have made it such a fast 2v1.
Both of them are looking for sniper shots right now, it looks like.
Ooh.
But with Simi Sax being right there, you could just try to get out of there. You could just try to fly away, and that might be what they're trying to do. Actually, they're just trying to get to the top. They're going to take all the high ground in the world. Shots being traded out, but still.
Oh, no way!
Connects
No
the
way!
knockdown Rocky!
I Woke Up Dead kids Rocky on the high ground there. They're going to try to shoot at the platform and prevent the reds, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to do it. Great build from Bonix and Rocky. Rocky might die to fall damage here. Rocky's dead. Rocky's a goner. And Bonix is not going to be able to get to that teammate anytime soon. Going to drop down, try to find one elimination, but it's going to, I think you just have to run. I think you've just got to forget about Rocky. It's turned into all about placement now.
Yeah,
Rocky's done.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there's a point you're going to say, sorry, you've got no chance of living. I'm just going to try to take one for the team here and try to live as long as possible. I mean, we've seen how that's worked out in the past a lot of the times. We've seen mixed results, I feel like. We've seen some players do very well, and I think you know who I'm talking about particularly. Then we've also seen some players run right back into the fray of things. And speaking about the fray of things, that was, I believe, a double kill that just came out from GWB, so that's going to give them more points, and their partner's still alive, and I'm not exactly sure where they are right now. I think they might be on top, but they're running into more.
Oh no!
There's so many people here.
Yeah, out of one fight directly into another, and we talked about this just a little bit, but as you said, you get to a point where it's about placement. It's either you die and I run, or I go to save you and we both die. So we saw them kind of take that second option, or they'd take that first option and decide, go for placement now, go to hide, pull that classic that we've seen so many times here tonight. But Midicro and GWB, they've got 2 eliminations, a guaranteed 4 points, and it looks like they're not exactly taking this firefight, but somebody's like right on top of them.
Yeah, it looks like they were trying to fight it out for a little bit, but then both teams kind of just said, nah, you know what, we'll just sit on top of each other for a little bit. We're in the circle. I mean, the thing is that neither of them really have anything from this. Like, they're not being able to find materials, they're not getting resources, they're not getting better guns. So this stalemate should really not be working out either way, but I Woke Up Dead and Orange, but they're going to be in the car right now trying to find something. They're maybe going to run over. Yeah, I know they're actually going to get out of the car just to... I'm not sure exactly what the interaction is right there, but I guess they're just going to move on and keep going with their path here. I don't know exactly where they're going. I mean, you can see there's really no one around them right now.
Yeah, they've got kind of a free reign, and of course we can only see that little mini-map area, but the fact that there's no one around them with 38 people left alive is quite shocking, as players are usually toe-to-toe whether they know it or not. Mandinka and Archer both still alive, able to find Detrata and Sky, gets that duo out of there. We're going to jump back into this fight. Things have finally started. Mandinka jumping into this fight, finding GWB, and going to find that elimination on them as well. It's going to come down to Midicro, who is just barely 75 shield and 84 health online. No good close quarters weapons, just a gray shotgun.
Yeah, green AR, blue sniper rifle. This is not looking good. They might be able to just hide this out, and they're going to have someone run right by them. This might be the time to go in, but you go for the snipe at close range and you miss.
Yeah, this close range snipe, high risk, no reward.
They might have the wrong gun out.
Yeah, I think that may have been a misinput, and unfortunately that's going to cost them their tournament placement. The 20th team that was left standing going to be the 7th team eliminated. 36 players left online, 19 teams. Mandinka and Archer with 6 kills. That is a guaranteed 12 points.
And I could be completely wrong about this episode, so please correct me if so. But I feel like this is the lowest amount of people we've seen with a circle still this big. I feel like we've actually seen kills come out quicker. So I guess our kind of assumption of how this would play out is wrong. Teams are still kind of just lingering for kills, or maybe just because of drops, players are actually much closer than they have been in the past.
You know, and maybe some of these players are just like, you know what, we probably can't place top 8. Let's just try to get as many kills as we can. So, yeah, it's...
You know, if we can't get it, no one else can. So
exactly.
People along the way, and who knows? Maybe they take out enough people, and it actually does work out.
Exactly. I mean, Orange Boy and I Woke Up Dead, they've been pretty aggressive, but this game in particular, like they are just looking for people. Like they are hunting players down. And now they're going up against Mandinka and Archer, who already have 6 kills online, so they are not losing many firefights. Mandinka going to be caught out there. Archer caught out as well. Both of them taking a lot of damage. Mandinka already down. If I Woke Up Dead and Orange Boy can get this kill, this could be huge for them. Mandinka is going to be completely eliminated. It's going to be a 2v1. You got to think the same thing. Archer's probably just going to try to run here.
I mean, I think they should all try to run, but Archer's gonna just run right back in. But right now, Orange Boy's really weak. You gotta remember though, there's another team just shooting from afar right now, but they could easily just try to run into this in third party.
Yeah, you've got to think with a name like Archer, maybe he wishes he had a bow and arrow online, but unfortunately, there are none of those in this game for the time being. And Orange Boy just has a great kit, other than that great SMG. Now getting stuck into that build battle, and oh, what a shot from Archer, able to find Orange Boy in the back there and confirm the elimination nonetheless. I Woke Up Dead suddenly on their lonesome. What was such a winnable 2v1 turns into a 1v1 as Archer with the flank of a lifetime thanks to a great third-party distraction.
And now they've gotten killed up because they get that kill. They were so weak before, now they're not as strong right now as I Woke Up Dead, but I mean, before it was like 1 tap potential. Now it's gonna at least be 2 or 3 shots. Archer's still trying to find the right angle. Now they're gonna go toe to toe. No! Archer wins the 1v2.
Archer with the upset. That is 8 kills online for Archer and Mandinka. And honestly, there's plenty of time to get to one of those vehicles to resurrect Mandinka if you can find that card. And wow, I Woke Up Dead and Orange Boy. They come in so strong here tonight. And unfortunately, they only make it to 19th here in that final game.
I think knowing, that you've landed a few shots on Archer previously, you just have to run in. You can't go for your own heals because you were still pretty healed up at that point. You obviously were worried about the people behind you on top of the hill. You just have to run for it. They did pick up the reboot card. I just saw that happen. The only car in sight is currently broken, and we don't see any vans nearby necessarily. So looks like they're going to be trying to swim. There is a car there that might be in better condition. Looks like they're just going to avoid that for now. So they're just going to go downstream. And, this actually could be the play because obviously you are kind of visible, when you jump out of the water, but you're making a lot less noise than a car does.
Yeah, absolutely. You're moving pretty fast, not as fast as a car, but like you said, you're making notably less noise. So you can kind of sneak around quite a bit and try to find some value early on, just really get in or out of a fight by utilizing the river and the water in general. Now, Archer has a really good kit, like 2 purple shotguns and an orange AR. I mean, that is... Come on, like that is an incredible kit. Is it good enough to win, 17 2v1s? I'm not sure about that, but if they can really land a couple shots, they could probably net at least 1 or 2 more kills.
And is there a reboot van at
Dirty Dogs? What a circle!
That is the question. This circle is atrocious for most people because
it's horrific.
It's on the water. So we talked about just being on the boat before. This would actually be the perfect time to do so. Just play all the way out at sea and just wait for these fights to commence everywhere else. Archer's still trying to just find some place for them to go. There is a reboot van, but I mean, I don't know if they can do this. They're gonna go for it. It's a really risky play, but I feel like this is what you got to go for. You could just play for placement, or you could play for the win. And they want to make sure that they have all angles covered. There isn't a big reboot. We'll see if it actually goes through.
No way Archer gets this off, right? Like there's I feel like there's a 0% chance. Look at all of the people at Dirty Docks right now. And even if he does get it off, his partner has nothing. Like, we'll have no materials unless they drop. That's probably why they're carrying 2 shotguns, actually, because they're going to drop 1. But that just definitely, I mean, Archer, if you were going to do this, you needed to start it about 10 seconds ago. They get it off, but just in time to go down. Mandinka has nothing online, and yeah. High risk, no reward. To be fair, you've got 8 eliminations, 16 points, and Catinator getting a little dance in after getting rid of that duo. Got to get a lot of free materials as well. Not only the purple shoddy, but the orange AR. That's going to be phenomenal for them. A bunch of free mini shields as well. So Catinator and MBU AG, if I'm not mistaken, this is the longest they've lived in any of our games tonight.
I think I've seen them get to top 10 or top 15 at least a little bit, but usually they fall off a little bit after that. So we'll see if they can get farther than they have previously. And I want to kind of go back to what I was saying about it being a good play. It's a good play, but it wasn't in the moment. If you wait a little bit for the circle to collapse more when everyone's on top of each other, that's when you go for it. When everyone is just kind of waiting and just hiding.
Yeah,
here we go back to the dancing. This is what we're looking for. This is the content we need here. But going back to that play for the reboot, just be patient. You got plenty of time as the circle continues to close. You know that it's going to be still in your favorites. The reboot van is still going to be there. So going out there and putting all those materials up, like, you know, right where the van is, that's basically just a sign saying, come here and kill me. And there, everyone collapsed.
Yeah, speaking of signs saying, come here and kill me, Sebi is literally running around with the emote of, like, slamming a spoon on a pan that makes a very loud noise. So, speaking of come and kill me, we might see that happen pretty soon here for that duo. Ideal and Mick Complex, they're going to get this this airstrike, this supply drop, and I'm surprised, honestly, they didn't shoot it down because it's going to drop way faster. Like, everybody clearly knows you're there. You built a museum around it, so it's not like you're hiding and waiting for this, but instead, they're going to wait patiently, going to get some chug splashes for their efforts. That's going to be good in the long run, you know, if they get the opportunity to use them. Sometimes you get taken out in a fight so fast you don't even get the chance to heal. Also, I want to talk about this circle again. This is horrific for these players. You've got half of the room you're supposed to right now because the other half is the ocean. So that is definitely not a good look. I want to point out Fear and Amazon Kid from Akron, they're still alive.
Look at where the next circle is going to be. It's like...
No way! It's all water!
It's like, yeah, I would say it's like 60% water, 40% land, and like the water goes right into the middle of it. So you could see players like playing all the way toward the north, but then they might absolutely destroy their chance of getting into the next circle after that. This is going to be some of the biggest rain strategy we've seen so far, or some of the biggest throws, depending on how they decide to play this.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this circle, as my favorite bellhop at the Tipton would say, this is a disaster because that is so much water in that final circle there, and it's going to be just so aggressive coming out from any of these players. And we see a very mild possibility to high ground advantage, but overall, eventually, one way or another, everybody's going to be forced to that beach.
Just imagine if you're like about to win, you get killed by a shark because you're playing on the water. And
you
you jump into the ocean just for a split second, and a shark just ends up eliminating you. I can't even imagine what that feeling would be like. But again, like we talked about this earlier, the elimination's coming a bit quicker this round, although there's still a lot of teams left. 15 duos to be exact, 30 players. No one is being solo right now. It's the least amount we've seen thus far, and there is Sebi with that pan once again, but I think, you know, with those walls, maybe not as many people are hearing them.
Yeah, maybe those bricks are absorbing a little bit of the sound. Empty rocking out with a guitar a moment ago, but it looks like they put that down. Catnator with a good shot onto Big Rib. They're able to get 27, I believe. So getting rid of just a little bit of that shield. Not going to be able to find any kills quite yet. Realistically, with a circle like this, I think hiding may be your best strategy. I really do, because you're trying to take a firefight. You've got nowhere to run if things go south, right? So you really want to try to keep yourself out of the center of attention. Also, I'm not sure if we just have... Okay, never mind. I was just about to say, I haven't seen B-Hegs and Mars for a while, but no, I just did. So they are still alive, and Akron going to be directly underneath Catnator and MBUAG here. Ideal and Mick Complex not far away either.
Yeah, there's a lot of well-known teams here that are in that top 10 positioning. So again, this is where things get really important, especially for B-Hegs and Mars. I mean, they want to secure that victory. They want to put it on ice. So I think really anything in the top 5 should do so. I don't think there's really any chance they can lose if they do that. If they die here, they die a bit earlier, you know, maybe, just maybe, but it's unlikely. So and it's really the other teams that are going to be fighting for some of those lower cash prizes. A spot on the podium. I mean, second and third, you still want to be in that top 3 if possible. That's where the most money will be after that $1,000 grand prize. And again, Empty, you know, they're just
loving it.
They're just having fun, right? They're just having a good time.
They are just having a ball, absolutely. And I want to point out that Derpy is Fishing and Arrow are also still alive. I feel like that's a very important thing to point out because they, if I'm not mistaken, at least are our second place team, at least in terms of placement, which that may have changed when they got eliminated super early, but they're still in the top 5. That's a guarantee. So they're definitely still up there.
Top 5
so
for
if they win this round, like first place, that could upset a lot of things. And I don't think it's going to knock B-Hegs and Mars out of first place. I think that everybody here is fighting for a second place finish. But right now, Catnator and MBUAG on the high ground, 2 eliminations between the 2 of them. They know money is stuck out there.
UIQT in the meantime does get knocked, and as well as falls. Empty going to be going out for just a second, and that's not where you want to be. You don't want to be without any cover there. That's so dangerous when you get to this kind of play style. Now Empty is still just running for their life, but they do seem to get out of it. It looks like they will be able to build up a little bit. Sebi's still caught out too, but you're at the bottom of the structure, and that's not, like, again, we always talk about high ground is so important here. So as you see, there's so much being built on top of them, they can immediately get collapsed on.
Yeah, I mean, that circle is hysterical. Like, you have half a circle, basically, right now. And that is, I mean, you can very clearly see that is going to force a lot of these folks very close together. The people with the most aggressive high ground, I think, is going to be Juice and Bacon there, Demon Juice and Demon Bacon on the high ground. They say they're going to not really utilize it to attack, more in the defensive stance. They want to keep this area available for themselves, and they want to try to force as many people into the storm as possible. Looks like Derpy is fishing, and Arrow may fall. Yeah, okay, I was going to say, it looks like they may fall just on the edge of the storm. Not going to fall into it quite yet as the storm is moving kind of up and around them rather than, wow, look at that. Look at just that small glimpse at the minimap shows all of those arrows just tucked away.
And for the audience who doesn't know, Severance is colorblind, so this must be his worst nightmare, seeing all those different colored arrows in that area. But yeah, there's just everyone kind of in a small area. It's still less than, last game, but it's still a lot, especially because, a lot of that circle was cut off by the water. Now they're moving away from the shoreline. They're moving more inland. So we'll see how those rotations come out. But as you see, people are already starting to make their move on. There's going to be the launch pad sending them flying. They're going to be able to land just out of harm's way for now. So Juice and Bacon don't have that aggressive high ground they had before, but still playing pretty up high in the sky.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be playing high up. And honestly, if I had the power to control this circle, you better bet it would have gone right into the ocean. 100% chance if I would have pushed it right into the water. Because that would have been absolutely insane to see how these players adapted. But instead, looks like it's going to cut them a little bit of a break and push more toward the mainland. Derpy is fishing, getting caught in the storm for just a moment. Not even enough to take damage there. But that shows you how fast the storm is moving and how little room these players have for error. Honestly, I'm shocked. I think this is the longest we've gone with the circle continuously moving with this many teams. Usually at this point when the circle's moving, I think we're usually sitting about that 9 or 10 mark. So it looks like overall 15 teams of 30 people, nearly 29 are still alive. The numbers are going to plummet. The circle closes at one point, so they really are running out of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And now it's starting to get smaller and smaller just bit by bit. We're seeing that Bacon did take some damage. There's going to be Cadnator's partner, I believe, falling. Cadnator not having too much help, but it's Bacon actually who's going to get knocked down.
Oh, Demon Bacon is going to get knocked here, and Derpy is fishing confirms the kill. That's going to be huge. If they needed the healing, that would have been massive, but they were already at full health. Going to go for a couple more items before giving it up. An arrow, again on the high ground. It looks like, every time I say it, they drop. It's I swear. It's almost as if they can hear me, but yeah, I'm caster curves, and Big Rev probably going to get taken out here as Derpy is fishing. Gets a lot of great value, and Demon Juice gone. The BFB gone. Mellow knocked. Bukami knocked. You can see Derpy is fishing, get another kill online. Doesn't have as many kills as we're used to from them at this point. Only sitting at 1 for the duo, and Micah going to be knocked. As I say, it picks up another knock. Catnator's gone. That duo offline. BP is going to be knocked by All for Coaching, and Derpy is fishing, picks up a kill onto Micah. Arrow able to get a kill onto Big Rev, so now sitting at 3. BP officially eliminated here, and Mars going to be knocked by Mid Complex. That can be huge for BHEG and Mars. They can get taken out of this soon. All for Coaching is going to be gone. Money to Meta, and Mars is gone too. Mars is going to be eliminated. Frosty Ackerman is gone. Sebi is going to fall. Big Complex on a rampage. I think that's 3 kills for them in a matter of seconds. BHEX is able to find Ideal, get a little bit of a vengeance kill, and Empty able to steal that kill out from underneath. We are down to 13 players from 13 to 30 in the blink of an eye. Big Complex and Ideal are off the table. BHEX still alive for taking a lot of damage here on that low ground. 8 teams left, 13 players left alive, and I think we've got 3 solo players in the mix-up right now.
Yeah, BHEX is one of them. I believe Empty is another one. Empty falling solo, but Stem's actually going to be almost dropping all the way down to the ground. Looks like it's going to be one other player
the cleanup.
Derpy is just on this high ground every time. Even if they drop, they're always playing above everyone else in this lobby.
Yeah, they've got over 50 materials left that they can build their platforms. BHEG's just tanking the damage out from Derpy is fishing, trying to get that kill, and Derpy is fishing is just trying to farm as many kills as they can at this point. Like, it is just elimination after elimination. The high ground advantage is insane. Nobody's pushing up into the high ground either. Arrow's got like a secondary high ground pushing up into Derpy's now. They're going to see the eliminations come through. MCore is going to fall. 5 teams left, and BHEG's is gone, so they're going to be taken offline. I think that was a top 6 placement. Not the best, not the worst, so it's probably the worst that they've done, actually. Akron's still alive in the mix-up here. Derpy is fishing, trying to find these kills, and you've got to wish that somebody was just at the bottom and just took out the entire structure, because I would love to see what happened when that came to fruition, but unfortunately, 6 players left, 4 duos left online. I mean, this is just chaos incarnate here.
Yeah, that could be another heal off, and we saw it in game 4, I believe, and as you see, they just dropped a chug splash, and they may be trying to give it to their partners so that way they can stay alive, but it's going to be Amazon Kid who is taking a lot of damage, and they have no heals, only shields. Fear also very low in health, so if it does come down to a heal off, they will not win it.
Yeah, they will not be the winners, but it looks like it may not come to a heal off as Amazon Kid's going to be taken out right away. Fear able to find Shaffy, and Stemps is going to be taken out. It's going to be 2 duos left, and one of them's already down, so technically 4 people alive, but as Amazon Kid gets taken out, this is pretty much a guaranteed win for Arrow and Derpy is fishing here.
Yeah, it is, unless something goes horribly wrong, but I don't think anything will. They can just withstand the rest of the circle. Fear is already so weak, has nothing to keep
One bullet.
themselves alive. An arrow and Derpy is fishing in just a moment. Will take, believe, what is it, their third game?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's that 25th place finish from that last round from game 5 that might come back to haunt them when all is said and done. Arrow and Derpy do get the job done. They do get another first place finish, but I don't think it's going to be enough to put them into first place overall here in the AVGL Collegiate Champions League Grand Finals.
Yeah, I mean, a phenomenal job nonetheless, but really that team are prime example of what does RNG look like, right? They have 3 victories under their belt, and then there's another game, they placed 25th. Like, that is absolutely insane. We are going to be throwing it to one more very quick break, my friends. We will be back with an interview of the winning team that will also let you know once we get back from this break. So we'll see you guys in just a minute. Don't go far. You're not going to want to miss this.
In 2020, we interrupted your regularly scheduled programming to bring you $250,000 worth of scholarships through Intel Inspires. Now, in 2021, we are the regularly scheduled programming. We are proud to announce the new AVGL high school program, backed by a myriad of colleges, influencers, and esports professionals. Up to $400,000 worth of scholarships, paid esports internships, content creator camps, and 50+ exclusive tournaments and events. We know the ropes, and after the experience granted to us through Intel Inspires, we're no longer tying knots, we're tying bows. Because esports isn't about skill, it's not about age, it's not even about experience, it's about attitude. And we at the AVGL are dedicated to bringing that attitude from the vault of the esports corporations and into your classroom. If there's one thing we've learned from a year at the forefront of collegiate esports, it's that professional gaming doesn't start with us. It starts with you.
one more welcome back to my Fortnite fans watching at home. We have been through 6 insane games, some great plays coming out from all of these players, and it has been a night of intensity and great gameplay from all these players. We've got a leaderboard for you guys that we're going to be jumping to right now, and honestly, we thought it was impossible, guys. We thought that it could not be done, but you know, if there's a will, there is a way, and as we move into this leaderboard, you guys, I think, are going to be pretty surprised because finishing in first place, no, we're kidding, it's Beggs and Mars, which also, we found out we said it wrong the entire time. His name is Beggs, it is not Vhegs, and we have already apologized, but they come in first place with a whopping 253 points on board.
One thing to note, though, is that Derpiest Fishing and Arrow CK, we talked about how important it was to get a good finish after not having a great Game 5, and they were able to just narrowly get into that second place slot, so that will give them $800. But congratulations to all of our top 10. Unfortunately, Demon Bacon and Demon Juice, as well as TYQD and the BFB, will not be walking away with any of that prize pool, but they will be walking away with some love from us because they did great tonight. But this is the top 8. These are all of the players that were able to place. And wow, what a night it was of Fortnite.
It really was. Also, got to give one more shout out. Akron, I see you 5th place. Super proud of you guys. You did a great job today. Of course, you did just as well as everybody else here, and you really made us proud here in Ohio. And of course, that top 5 placement looking pretty good. So like you said, unfortunately, UMD and TYQT and the BFB are not going to get any kind of top 8 finish, but then they are able to make it into that top 10, which is definitely going to be great. Also, we want to give one more plug to that giveaway. You just got to go in chat and you have to type, I need to find it here, Esport certified. Esport. Just one Esport certified, and that gives you an entry for those 4 RIG headsets that you can get access to in chat. That's all you got to do. Esport certified.
And you know, it's a great way to get a headset, so be sure to enter it before the night is over. But we are going to be talking to Beggs right now, and I think it's kind of funny because last week we talked to Lovo, this week we're talking to Beggs. Both times we did not know how to pronounce either of their names, did it wrong the entire time, but both of them were champions in their own right. But Beggs, one half of the team that was able to get that first place prize, the $1,000. Mars, the other half of that duo, and we'll be talking to them just a second. Beggs, are you with me?
I am.
Welcome. Congratulations so much. I'm going to let Septilence start this interview off.
Yeah, please, Beggs, tell us, man, like, how do you feel right now? I mean, it is, you guys just came out, you were phenomenal all night. Like, how are you?
Feel great.
I'm sure, man. You guys really, like, brought the heat. I was impressed so many times over. So my first question for you is going to be a pretty simple one. If you could just tell us, why Fortnite? What does Fortnite mean to you compared to these other games? What has really drawn you into this competitive scene over these other ones?
So one thing I really like about Fortnite is like the open setting in tournaments. You know, anybody can play. There's no gatekeeping with a league or anything. So really, you just got to show your skill, and that's all it takes. As long as you have the skill to win, then you can become a big name.
Absolutely. You guys, you showed your skill here tonight, man. I cannot stress that enough. You guys really did a phenomenal job.
And obviously, you guys are going to go away with that first place prizing. You're going to be the champions here at the AVGL Champions League. But I got to ask, do you have any other aspirations for playing Fortnite competitively, or is it more just something you wanted to explore while still being in college?
Well, Fortnite started with me. I played professionally for a year. I was actually in college at University of Maryland, and then I withdrew to play Fortnite professionally for about 2 years.
Wow.
Now I'm back in school, and I'm kind of balancing the collegiate leagues with school as well, so it's been working out well.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That is super cool to hear. It's definitely not something I feel we would have gotten to know had we not gotten this awesome interview, so that is very cool to hear. Yep. So my other question for you, and this is going to be great knowing that you've kind of hit that pro level, what is that constant motivator for you to constantly go in and just make that grind and work to be like the best of the very best?
I guess it's just, as a person, I'm really competitive. You know, for me, it wasn't really about the money. It was more just about I want to place and like prove people that I'm good. So
of course.
For me, that was the main motivator. For sure.
I love that. That's definitely awesome.
Okay, so I want to ask specifically about what happened in that second matchup, because you and Mars both did great tonight, but you lose Mars really early on, and yet you end up getting your second place in a row. It's one of your best placements. You guys got second, I think, 3 times, then first 1 time, so you did really good. But that second match, that's when we really started to notice you guys as a duo. So can you kind of walk me through how you're able to survive that long and make it all the way to the end?
So for us, normally we're not a high ground team. We like to play low and mid ground, and essentially our rotates are we just want to play center and then establish low ground like first and second moving zone. So tonight we really just tried to focus playing front of first moving and then holding people. So that was pretty much our game plan. And if you look back, you can see that we did that probably pretty much every single game except maybe one.
Yeah, no, you and Mars specifically were one of few duos to where even if you lost your partner, you didn't die right away. Very often we would see somebody lose their duo partner and then they're also taken out. But both of you, like there was the second game, you lose Mars. I think there were still 30 something teams online, and then you make your way all the way to second place, and then Mars does the same thing. I think either the next game or the one immediately after. So you guys really just consistently somehow, some way placed in. I think the worst you did was that last game in top 6.
Yep. Well, we make it a priority to split up our movement and make sure we don't have all of our items on one person. That way, if one of us does get headshot sniped or, pumped really hard and dies, then we can still make it work as a solo.
Yeah, definitely. You guys, I can't stress it enough. You guys brought the heat tonight. Like, you guys were very, very impressive. Actually, every single game, you're the only team to place at worst top 6, so that is insane.
Thanks.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
We're going to be getting to the end of this interview, but before we go, is there anyone you'd like to mention, shout out, anything you'd like to say at all? This is your time to kind of let our audience know at home.
Shout out to all the boys in UMD Fortnite. You guys know who you are. Shout out my Twitter, _Hags on Twitter. That's about it.
All right, awesome. Yeah, like Jack said, that is going to bring this interview to a close. Thank you so much for joining us, and seriously, congratulations. Like, you guys played so consistent all night and just did a phenomenal job.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for joining us. And like I said, everyone, that is finally going to bring tonight to a close. It has been a long night, but a great one nonetheless. And we could not thank all of you enough for joining us for this incredible, emotional, amazing journey. I have been Septilence, joined by Jag, of course, and a huge shout out before we get to our final moments to our production team. And of course, everybody watching at home. Shout out to everybody behind the scenes to help us do what we do. And of course, a very quick shout out to shopesportcertified.com. It is a new gaming gear destination exclusively for college and university students, specializing in a wide assortment of PC gaming gear, headsets, mice, keyboards, and a bunch more. Shop today's top brands, including Razer, HyperX, and Rig, all at epic savings. Visit today at esportcertified.com. So a huge shout out to them as well. And one final shout out again to everybody that was able to make it out here tonight. I have been Septilence, joined by Jag. Check your posture, drink some water, and have a good night. anytime soon. 44 players left online, 23 duos, and is really now he's going to be moving down, trying to keep himself in. Oh, they sync it up! They get the emote sunk up there. They're going to be dancing for us as we wait for any kind of action to start up again. But again, we are kind of in that lull of the circle closing in, and hey, at least we get a little dance show here, right? A little dance party.
Yeah, I mean, that's the synergy we need, right? Not only the same skin, but the same emote synced up at the exact same time. That's get somewhere away from the storm, but you're gonna be jumping.
Oh.